I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding from the words I spit. So sharp, so freezing, so cold. Behold, frostbite they feeling. I could tear you apart or I could go heal them. Don't believe in fate, don't believe in ceilings. I just need a taste and my mind starts feeling. I don't pace myself, I grind on kneeling. Got lust for change, I just love the feeling. I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a be in my feelings, I'ma be fine. Need time and I'll soon be winning. I live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I don't lie at night, I be in my feelings, I'ma be fine. Need time and I'll soon be winning. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding. From the words I spit, so sharp, so freezing. So cold, behold, frostbite they feeling. I could take
Hello, my beautiful ladies and gentlemen. How is everyone? Let's be real, it's mostly ladies in here, but how is everyone? Happy Saturday. Did you guys miss me? Because I missed you guys, for real. It has been a crazy couple days. When was I live? Thursday, because we're doing True Crime Thursdays. So I was live Thursday, and I wasn't yesterday. And it's crazy here on YouTube how quickly things happen. It's almost as like you don't come on YouTube for a day and you've missed a week, 2 week, month worth of shit. So, anyways, if you're new here, my name is Teaya Symone, and over on this channel, we do commentary and sometimes makeup, which will be coming very soon. I hope you guys are all having an amazing day/night wherever you're at. I'm not going to be able to say hi to everybody, but I'm going to scroll to the top. Hey, D. Hey, Susan. Hey, the best mama bear. Hey, Alyssa. Hey, Shine. Hey, Sparkle. I love you. Hey, Princess Chicken. Hey, Tamara. Anita. Leah. Two Skulls, One Swing. Shelly Belly. Faith. Rachel. Tisha. Felon Better with Irish. Felony Melanie. Mama Bear. Mrs. Bermudez. One-Armed Wonder Warden. I like that. Hey, Southern Girl. Hey, is it Koala? Koala Lover? Hey, B. Crunk. Hey, Queen Mike. Queen Mick or Mike, one or the other. Hey, Betty. Hey, Seeking Justice. Basketball Mom. Peaches. Always good to see you guys. Hey, is it Miss McMasshole? Hey, Mallory. Hey, Ania. Kelly R. Roddy. Hey, Daff84. It's so good to see you guys. Hey, Carolyn, living on a prayer. I like that name. Meow now, seeking justice. I think I said hi to you already. Hey, Kat. Hey, Selena. Hey, stranger. Hey, Vito's mama. Okay, so I'm happy to see all of you guys here. Hey, Tori, Melody. Hey, buddy. Queen. Or never mind. I said hi to Queen. Okay, so I'm going to slow the chat really quickly. Okay, I just had to slow the chat real quick. Yeah, I always put it on mute because the clicking noises. So obviously there's a lot of things going on. When I say Katie, Lord, it's almost as if she's already low, right? I mean, you can't take that away from her. The girl is good at going low, right? But there's always that time where you can get lower and lower and lower. And it's like she keeps doing that every day. Her and this whole whatever the name of that channel is, and I don't even really want to say the channel, but most people know the channel because in some way I do feel like I don't think that channel is Katie, but I do think that they're affiliated with her somehow because there is no way that a channel would just up and just kind of continue to pick up and perpetuate her narrative, right? So it's annoying. But there were some things that I wanted to show you guys. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have already seen it. There's some things that need to be debunked. I'm going to show you that. And that's it. And I'm going to show you guys, pretty much tell you guys my opinion. Teaya, I have a 4-hour drive tomorrow, so I won't be mad if you run long tonight. I'll be rewatching tomorrow. Oh, thank you, Shelly Belly. So I can entertain you when you're driving. Yes. That's awesome if you'll be listening to me. I appreciate that. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up. Whenever I pull stuff up, I usually go on mute. So you'll never hear a sound because it's just the clicking noises. I don't like the way it sounds when I re-listen to it. So 1 second. Okay. I want to show you guys something really quick. This was only from yesterday, but you have to like scroll because she's literally posting 50,000 times a day to keep perpetuating all her narratives with the Duggars and then, you know, the Justice for Vaughn story. So, hey Goose, it's good to see you. All right, so here I'm going to read this, okay? This is from August 18th. And it says, a Dre supporter put together shorts on YouTube of a live where Vaughn spoke openly about his biological mom and stepfather. He openly described DRG use, DV, and chaos in the home of his biological moms when he briefly lived with them. He accused his stepfather of allegedly hitting him and hitting his bio mom along with DRGS. He accused his mom of scamming and conning him with her cab company and buying her car for the business, which he believed was an investment, not a gift. Dre spoke about Biomom using Vaughn's social security number to take out loans and other credit cards, which ruined his credit before he was able to establish credit of his own. Vaughn said he was forced to give up wrestling because they refused to drive him to practice. He said he was forced to stay at home while they went and did things without him. He said he felt like the black sheep and all he wanted to know was why she gave him up. He said he went to live there because he missed his siblings. He regretted the decision to live with them and realized he was grateful his great-grandparents raised him outside of the chaos. If anyone has this full supporter live and could send it to me, please let me know. These are just highlights. Let me tell you something, Katie. You, okay, are literally the biggest piece of shit on the fucking internet, okay? And let me tell you why. Let me explain it to you, okay? Because how dare you bring this up and you keep referring to Miss Letitia as the bio mom when you never referred to her as that when you got what you wanted from her, okay? Thank you so much. Oops, I missed a super chat. Thank you, Anita. Oh, I love you, girl. Thank you so much for the super chat, beautiful. I appreciate you. The fact that you would pull this up and you're only doing these things to hurt Ms. Letitia and her family, which is completely understandable. I can honestly say that I want to commend Ms. Letitia and her family for remaining classy, for remaining staying true to themselves. Ms. Letitia, I want to commend her for sticking to her religion and not getting outside of herself. Because let me tell you something, if that was anybody else, I could understand why somebody would literally lose it. Because you cannot torture people like this. And that is all that this woman is doing. She is literally trying to break Ms. Letitia to pieces. That's what she's trying to do. She is trying to break her down piece by piece. And this is one of those posts that really made me mad. Now, we all know the disagreement that happened with Vaughn and his mother when it came to the cab company from Dre's own words. Okay. We all went over this, remember? So that's nothing new, but to sit there and yes, I'm sure that there's many times where Vaughn has confided and he has talked about some of his, troubles and the things that he believes, and he may have been hurt in the past, and that is life. Okay, but I want to bring up something else. I'm going to show you this clip, and then I'm going to show you something else. And I think that this is going to pretty much debunk everything that Katie has put in this post. Okay. So.
Ass fucking my stepdaddy, but it turned out to be a scam. Con, it really sucked. I'm also sorry for the fact that when I was 16, that I ended up leaving them just to go back to my mother. and her bitch ass fucking
husband.
Yeah. God, I can't even call him a stepfather. Messed up at that point. That's when I.
Now, I want to remind you guys right here. As you can see, Katie is obviously sensationalizing it as she writes it, fabricating things. Because if you listen to Vaughn, he's mostly talking about his stepfather and the things that he went through. And we all go through things as children. I can think of times that I went through a lot with my mother's boyfriend from the past, and I've seen my mother go through DV as well. We as mothers, we do make mistakes. My oldest seen me go through DV, okay? We've all made mistakes as parents, and that's okay, as long as we learn from those mistakes. Exactly. Families reconcile, they find a common ground, they find peace. And I really do think that Vaughn found that with his family. And as you listen to him, you can definitely hear that. You can hear that in him, in the words that he's saying.
I regret actually leaving my grandparents. I really miss my brothers and sisters.
Right.
So I ended up living with them, and I seen everything that was going on in that house. He would yell and scream at her. He would hit her. I almost got to the point where I wanted to beat his ass. Like, seriously. Like, I want to literally go in there and sock him in the jaw. But, of course, I'm not going to do.
And this is why I say that you are a 100% disgusting human being, Katie. This is why I say that, because he is talking about his experience of watching his mother go through a DV relationship. And here you are blaming it all on her, as if it's all her fault, as if it's her fault that she went through these things. He's literally confiding and telling Dre, and you literally misconstrued it all, took it and fabricated it and made it look as though it was all Ms. Letitia's fault. All you got to do is watch this and listen to his words. He's talking about a person that Ms. Letitia was with in the past. And you're literally, I can tell, I don't give a shit what you say. You are one of the only people that I would not believe, besides Amber Heard herself, that, and Courtney Clenny, that you were in a DV relationship. I don't believe you. You said you were in one in the past. I'm pretty sure you did. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments, but you said you were in a DV relationship in the past. I think you're lying, because nobody who has been in a DV relationship would blame someone else. Nobody would act this way when it comes to that. You are taking this and literally turning it all around on Miss Letitia because you're sick. You are sick.
Do that because he's my mother's husband. He cared nothing about us. Never, ever, ever, ever want to become that. I even messed up just by leaving my grandparents just to go be with them. But even then, when I was staying with them, like, it was just horrible. Like, them two would be arguing constantly. Okay, I had my own room and everything, but I stopped wrestling because it was too far away for me to go to practice, and they couldn't drive me. They would go to Tybee Island. I had to stay home for them to go wherever they wanted to go. And that was.
Let me tell you something, Katie Paulson. Okay. How are you going to sit here and say they wouldn't drive him to practice? He just said they couldn't. There's a difference between couldn't and wouldn't. Okay, for somebody who claims to be so smart, you would think that you would know that. Look it up in a dictionary, figure out the difference between the two, take it all the way back to elementary school. He said couldn't, not wouldn't. To me, there's a difference. Okay, when you wouldn't, that means you don't want to, you refuse to, and that's exactly what you put in that post. But he says couldn't. Now, let me be 100% clear here. I do not agree with this. I don't agree with having a counseling session with your wife in front of however probably 1,000 people that were watching them. I don't think that is a good idea. But in the same sense, this is what he said. There is no denying it. But this is about Katie misconstruing everything and turning it all around. Turning it all around on Miss Letitia.
Like, that was messed up. I was literally the black sheep. So I'm kind of glad that my grandparents took me in the way they did.
Used his like social security and like messed up his credit even before like he was able to establish something for himself. You let me know when you want me to stop, and I'm going to be very respectful.
I don't care.
I know. But I still want to be respectful, okay?
Yeah.
I don't like this video at all. I can honestly tell you that you can even tell just by this video how manipulative Dre is. Of course, he says that he doesn't care, but at the same sense, why does this have to be public? Why does his whole history of his life and things that he went through have to be public? I can honestly say that's one thing that I do not agree with from, Von and Dre. Even though I pray for Von every day and I pray that he makes it out of his coma, the point is I still don't agree with this, because there's always going to be people like Katie, a malicious, evil, horrible devil, she-devil person that's going to take this, misconstrue it, and make it into their own words and make Miss Letitia look like she's the most evil person in the world, when we all have had our experiences. We all have been in toxic relationships for the most part. Not everybody, but for the majority, we've all had those experiences. We've all made mistakes. We've all done things that if we can go back, we would do it over again. You know what I'm saying? But in the same sense, I still don't like how this is all being turned. He is not in any way bashing his mother. He's not. But then you have Katie in this Facebook post who is.
You can be respectful, but at the same time, it's the truth.
But I'm careful about the things that I talk about with you, because I am on social media, not you.
I'm not worried about that. The truth is the truth. That's pretty much what it is. So
yeah,
if that's what it is, then that's what it is.
Yeah.
And those are the type of things that really, really piss me off. It's like, I don't like the way Ms. Letitia is being bullied in this way and being called the bio mom when she was never called the bio mom from the very beginning, and it's Katie just purposely trying to hurt this lady. And it just pisses me off. It pisses me off. But the whole point is, what exactly is your point of posting this besides mentally and verbally attacking Ms. Letitia? What exactly is your point? What is it that you are trying to prove here, KJ, by showing that video? Because you literally fabricated it. Like I said, I do hope that nobody sends you the whole damn video, for one. But you literally fabricated all of it and made it look like he was bashing his own mother when he really wasn't. But at the end of the day, what you have said, Katie, in your video, is 2 weeks prior to Von being in a coma, how happy he was to speak with his mother. Okay? So, 1 second, I need to pull something else up. Okay. So I wanted to pull this up because I wanted to show here how necessary it is to show this video, because it shows families reconcile, families work out their differences, families come to reunite with one another. And I truly believe that this is what Vaughn wanted. And I also know that that's what Katie knows as well. She is just mentally and verbally Aing, and I don't want ABUSE, Miss Letitia. And she's mentally, verbally attacking her and trying to, like I said, she's trying to tear this woman down. And I'm not going to let it happen. Okay. As long as I have a voice, I will speak about this. Okay. So, and I'll always have a voice no matter what. Okay. So I'm going to play this. Let me turn the, it feels like it's low, but it's not. Okay.
To convert to alkaline vegan.
Oh, cool. Man, I love my mom. I think she's trying, but she needs to go full. She needs to go full.
Vaughn had a conversation with his mom. Pain relief.
Thanks, Trisha.
To me, it's chameleon. Yeah. They're so good.
Oh, that was amazing, Trisha. Being able to speak to me for the first time in a long time, man.
He came out of the room smiling ear to ear, big old smile.
Man, I got to talk to my mom. So first I got to talk to my, I started texting my little brother. And then I got to talk to my big sister. I called her. And then right after that, she told me my little girl, Nene, wanted to talk to me. Man, that girl was just like my little sister. She was like my daughter when I was back home. I used to do everything with Nene. And, it was after that I got to talk to the TT, or I think it was TJ first. And then after that I got to talk to TT or TJ, one of them after that. But I got to talk to all three. And then after that I got to talk to my moms. Man, it was nice. It was real nice. Especially the lifestyle they changing up too.
Yeah. And they're changing up on their own without Vaughn's knowledge, pouring his knowledge into them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's awesome.
Hey, but I'm about to I'm about to bring them on in. Baby, you ain't no paddle. You ask directions. Well, they ain't paddle either, but baby, I don't just throw a rope around you. I come personally over here and pick you up and hold you, and then I walk you the way I need.
Thank you, mommy. I'll pick you up.
So, in my opinion, that totally debunks what the narrative that Katie is trying to push, which is how Vaughn felt about his family in the past is in the past. Okay. Should have never been public in the first place. But how he felt was in the past. This was 2 weeks prior to him being in a coma. And he was happy to talk to his mother. He was happy to talk to his family. He was planning to see them. He was planning to rebuild a relationship with them. And he was more than happy to do it. Just to be clear, Ms. Letitia and Vaughn were speaking about life changes. They were talking about diet because other channels want to make up some BS narrative. Exactly. They were talking about the diet. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to push their whole narrative. I'm trying to be careful because I am very emotional right now. My aunt and uncle adopted me when I was 8 years old. My real mom walked away and I had nothing to do with me for over 20 years. We reconciled. I cared for her at home when she, was diagnosed with cancer. My boys knew she was their granny, but my mom was their grandma. KJ has no right to do this. I'm so mad. I agree. The point is that we know the truth, right? But I just wanted to show that to you guys because this is the same video that KJ played to her audience because, yes, obviously they had a past. But to use this woman's past against her like KJ does constantly is not right. And like I said, she is mentally and verbally attacking this woman and trying to break her down piece by piece. And I will not tolerate it. Okay? I will not tolerate it. He was very happy to see his family and continue to talk to his family and to continue to build a relationship with his family. Hold on 1 second, you guys.
You wash my hair.
You sorry you guys, my little guy had to get his hair washed. She obviously thinks she is untouchable. She does, but she's not untouchable. One day it is going to blow up in her face. Period. The thing that is crazy to me is KJ has much worse charge than Miss Letitia. I agree. A DUI is way worse than what Miss Letitia has, in my opinion. Why isn't KJ showing the video of Dre bragging about her showing Vaughn the light to his family? She bragged she made him realize all the trauma he had. Make it make sense, please. Exactly. And I just wanted to show you guys that, and for people who are watching and that are in support of KJ, that's not true. What Dre was talking about was in the past, hence the way that she looked compared to the way she looks now. Obviously, she's lost a significant amount of weight, and so has Vaughn. You could see it in that recent video, which was 2 weeks prior to him being in a coma. But that's the narrative. She literally flipped and fabricated all of his words. He wasn't talking down on his mother at all. At all. All right. So I'm going to pull up something else really quickly. So let's get into this channel. I don't like saying the channel's name, even though we all know the channel's name. I don't want to say it because obviously the channel is helping KJ perpetuate her narrative. And a lot of people sent me the video of Goose, where when Goose was on panel and confirmed that everyone got their refund, this nonsense channel played that on her channel and said, where's the proof? Well, let me tell you something. They don't have to show you any proof because they know the truth, okay? Why don't you show the proof of the accusations that you are making, right? Who the hell are you? You're not the police of anything. You don't police anything around here. So nobody has to show you shit. If you want to know something, then figure it out on your own. Because at the end of the day, the truth always comes out. Justice always prevails. And nobody has to show you anything. If you made the accusations, okay, you're the one that keep making these dangerous allegations and you have no proof of it. So you want us to do your work for you? No, we're not going to do your work for you because you're lying in the first place and you have no proof of it. And like I said, they are dangerous accusations because you don't accuse people of those types of things without any proof to back it up. So I am going to show something really quick that KJ said on her page. So hold on real quick. Okay. Thank you, Tios Nini. Thanks for everything you're doing. Thank you for the super chat, beautiful. Oh, I love your picture. Beautiful. Thank you so much, beautiful. So I want to show you guys this. There was obviously on this nonsense channel, and even KJ obviously is perpetuating this narrative as well, lying like she always does, and saying that, excuse me, she's not the only one. KJ is saying she herself is not the only one who called Dre a schmurderer. Okay? Can't say the word, so I say schmurderer. KJ saying that Molly also said this. So I'm going to show you this clip real quick, and I'm going to show you how this clip was very edited to make it look like Molly said this, which I can tell you right now, Molly never said that. I know that because I've watched Molly, and she has never, ever, ever called Dre a schmurderer. She has never upfront said what Katie did. But see, Katie wants to throw everybody under the bus, and that's exactly what she's going to do to Unirock in this nonsense channel when her ass gets into trouble for the shit that she's doing. Okay? So here's the clip that the nonsense channel had on there. I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to play it. Oh, wait. I need to share my screen. Oops. I don't know what my mouse is doing. How did I just do that? It literally just, hold on, you guys. That's not going to happen again. He's so smiley. My kid is so smiley right now. He's so cute. Mommy is normally the one who gives him a shower, but Daddy had to give him a shower because I'm live, and I don't know. I'm just used to giving him a shower. So, and he's normally used to me giving him a shower, but he is happy that Daddy gave him a shower and washed his hair. Daddy. Now Mommy feels left out.
Mommy jealous.
I'm not jealous.
Daddy.
That's not going to happen again, though. Mommy always gives you your shower. You have to, Mommy, you used the wrong soap on him. Now I have to use the right kind of soap with him. So
you just had to put that.
Well, it's true.
Say yeah.
Okay, hold on. I'm bringing this up, you guys, because I lost it for some reason. Okay. Hold on. Let me share my screen here. So this is the clip. My little one is 6. He is 6 years old. We're just at that point where he is learning how to do everything on his own. So I'm just used to making sure that he has to have a special kind of soap because he has eczema, but Daddy accidentally used the wrong kind, but hope he'll be fine. Okay. Okay, so I am going to play this, and this was a clip that the Nonsense Channel used to prove that Molly supposedly, allegedly called Dre a murderer. But I want you guys to listen to this clip, and you will hear how edited this clip is because Molly has never said that. So I'm going to show you now.
We don't hate her. You still want to watch her murder her husband, mistreat her children. What? We don't hate her. You still want to watch her murder her husband.
Do you guys hear that, or do I need to play it again? Let me play it again on mute. I'm sorry. But listen to this closely. This was edited to make it sound like Molly said this shit. Okay? This was edited on that Nonsense Channel. You're also not a very good channel. Nobody's going to listen to you, especially if you're affiliated and sticking up for somebody like Katie Joy because she's a liar. Okay? And now we see that people need to be looking at you sideways too because this fucking clip is edited. You see, here's the thing. I am not going to sit here and put up with this shit because I know the truth because I've been covering this story since day one. And regardless of whether you like Molly or not, do your research for goodness sakes. Don't let, just because you feel some type of way about Molly, does that mean that you're automatically going to stand with KJ even though you're standing with a lie? Is that what you're going to do? What kind of integrity do you have? So you are basically letting your hate for somebody determine what's the truth and what's not the truth instead of doing your own research and your own due diligence, because in the end you're going to look like an idiot. Okay? She did not say murder. This was fucking edited. Excuse my language, but this was edited and it makes me so mad. Don't let it's hate bonding. That's all it is. Don't let your hate for somebody determine what's right and what's wrong. This is wrong. This clip is edited. I don't give a shit if I stood here today and did not like Molly. I would still be doing this because it's the truth.
We don't hate her. You still want to watch her murder her husband, mistreat her children. What? We don't hate her. You still want to watch her murder her husband, mistreat her children. What? We don't hate her. You still want to watch her murder her husband, mistreat her children. What? We don't hate her. You still want to watch her murder her husband, mistreat her children. What? We don't hate her. You still want to watch her murder.
I wanted to keep letting you guys hear that because do you hear right before she says murder, which is edited, you hear something chime in. It's like a noise. That was purposely done. Why not show the whole clip, right? So I'm going to show the whole clip so you guys can see this, okay? I'm going to bring it up. It's just so disappointing to watch, even people that, you know, that I personally like, you know, and I see, you know, I don't even know. It just makes me mad. That's all. Let me make sure. Okay, that's. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to. Did I? Okay. Let me share my screen here, and I'm going to show you guys the real clip.
Hates you. We don't hate her. Zen, sweetheart. She hates you. We don't hate her. Just don't want to watch her murder her husband, mistreat her children. Is there something wrong with that? Whose side are you on, sister? Want to rock? Let's go. Want to rock? Zen, sweetheart.
We're going to listen to that again. But if you listen to the edited clip, someone comes in there and says really high-pitched voice. And my mod just told me it says Molly go lightly in a high-pitched voice. Now, you guys just heard what Molly said. She said, we just don't want to watch, okay, her murder her husband. She didn't say what Katie said, I think she said, we don't want to watch. So listen to this clip again. Then I'm going to play the other clip again.
Zen, sweetheart. She hates you. We don't hate her. Just don't want to watch her murder her husband, mistreat her children. Is there something wrong with that? Whose side are you on, sister? Want to rock? Let's go. Want to rock? Zen, sweetheart. She hates you. We don't hate her. Just don't want to watch her murder her husband, mistreat her children. Is there something wrong with that? Whose side are you on, sister? Want to rock? Let's go. Want to rock?
She was referring to all the shit. Exactly. She did not say what KJ said, and that's what they're trying to make it look like. So I'm going to pull up this clip one more time so you guys can hear what I'm trying to tell you in the background. Someone came in. It's an edited clip. Why not show the real clip? You didn't show the real clip because it doesn't support your narrative, okay?
We don't hate her. Just don't want to watch her murder her husband, mistreat her children.
What?
We don't hate her. Just don't want to watch her murder her husband, mistreat her children.
What?
We don't hate her.
Just don't want to watch her murder. We don't need her. Just don't want to watch her murder.
Did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear how that Molly Go Lightly came in there? Did you guys hear that? I slowed it down, but I'm going to slow it down a little bit more.
We don't need her. Just don't want to watch her murder her husband. Mistreat her children. What? We don't need her. Just don't want to watch her murder her husband. Mistreat her children. What? We don't need her. Just don't want to watch her murder her.
You guys hear that? How they had to put that in there so it can make it sound like Molly Go Lightly said she murdered her husband. But that's not what Molly said. We just heard what she said, right? It may be KJ. Dependable scammy. And maybe, I don't know. I think it's just somebody who's affiliated with her. I think she's the one who's doing all this and the editing, and they're just kind of putting it out there. But you could be right. I think whoever edited this clip is an idiot. Sounds like Katie to me. But and I don't like calling people idiots and stuff like that. But what else can you call her? She's a horrible human being. Molly is not stupid enough to do that. Exactly. She did not say that. Molly knows better. Her channel is true crime. Why would she say that? The only person who said that, the only person who doesn't have any kind of respect for herself or anybody else that would say something like that is Katie. So they put in Molly Go Lightly right at the exact point so they could skip out that one part. And then they continued. Here's what I'm saying. I am a person who defends what's right. Whether I like you or I don't, I'm going to defend what's right. And even though I've gotten to know Molly and I think she's a cool chick, but regardless, if I didn't like Molly, I would still be doing this because it's what's right. And then you have all these other channels out there promoting this nonsense channel. Well, I just proved this channel is literally a fraud, in my opinion. You edited this clip to make it sound like Molly said what Katie said. Why do you think on Katie's couple lives ago, when she played and started talking about how Molly said the same thing, why do you think she didn't play this? She didn't play it because she knows it's edited. That's why. Yeah, they put in a baby voice. Can I listen to it one more time before I close this out? Close out this thing.
We don't need her. Just don't want to watch her murder her husband. Mistreat her children.
There you go. That proves right there that this nonsense channel is not credible. You're editing clips to fit your narrative. That's horrible. And you should be ashamed on yourself and anybody who supports this channel. Thank you so much, Doggy Lover. Great investigation. Yes, I have to thank Goose for that because she sent me the clip. You know, the investigating part is slowing it down and trying to hear what is said. And it is very obvious Molly never said this. She didn't say that. She knows better. And it's disgusting. And thank you so much for the super chat, Doggy Lover. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Beautiful dog. I think, is that a German Shepherd? I want a German, you know what I want? I want an Alaskan Malamute. I want one. I think those dogs are so beautiful. So yeah, I'm going to get me one of them dogs. But what a beautiful dog. I love that dog. So cute. Okay. Yes, because she is a mod for Molly. So she knows what Molly said and what she didn't say. Okay? She knows. So therefore, you have this nonsense channel putting out bullshit and she knows what Molly said. So of course she's going to go get the clip and defend her friend. You know what I'm saying? That's her friend. Yes, I want an Alaskan Malamute. They are so cute. Okay, so I guess she did it live. I can honestly tell you guys, I'm not going to do this whole live. I cannot. I cannot take too much of that woman. And I'm sure a lot of people went over this live stream today. A lot of people have asked me, a few people have asked me, you know, when you watch her live, she's getting the revenue. You're right. I've had multiple people ask me this, but here's the thing. I always tell you guys, if you want to know anything about KJ, go watch Llama Girl. She has all of KJ's clips. She works very hard, and her link is always in my description. However, when I'm watching Katie's live, it's for the sake of content and commentary, obviously. And I'm doing commentary. And it also saves, how many people are in here? It also saves 537 people from going over there and giving her more revenue. And that's how you have to look at it. You can't look at it for what it is. So it's not me. I may be watching it, but I'm only one person. And it saves other people from going over there and watching her, because who wants to, right? Nobody. Okay. So I'm going to... I know Heather's Haven. I know. It's hard because I think what bothers people the most about watching her is she's so evil. The evil just radiates off of her. Like, it literally just, it's ew. But anyway, I understand why people say that. Like, it's hard. It's hard to watch her because it's hard to watch somebody that you know is lying and there's nothing you can do about it. It's hard to watch somebody that's hurting other people and there's nothing you can do about it. But we are doing something, you guys, because we're calling it out. We're holding her accountable, right? So as long as we're holding her accountable, at least we're doing something, right? Her husband was putting toys away last night, and I know she wanted to yell at him so bad, but she was biting her tongue. Thank you, because I can't stand watching her at all. I can't. I just can't. I haven't needed to watch KJ in so long, so thanks, Teaya, Llama Girl. Thank you, Dave. I saw something last night of KJ saying, "Where are all my viewers at?" Well, here's the thing. I think with KJ and her Facebook, she does not get nearly as much viewers, in my opinion, like she should. I don't think, hold on, you guys, I have to wipe this because it's like really, really blurry. I don't think she gets a lot of viewers. She really doesn't. I think for somebody who has as many people on her Facebook as much as she has, she doesn't get nearly that many. Like, I feel like a person should be getting, if that makes sense, for how many people that she has following her or liking her. She doesn't get that many views. She doesn't get that many likes, you guys. She doesn't get that much interaction, in my opinion. So, hi, beautifuls. I love you. Thank you, guys. I love you guys. Yuck. How did she get someone to? Okay, hold on. I'm going to pull up. What's wrong? Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, I want to read this real quick. It says, yesterday, an admin that formed the Justice for Vaughn page admitted to creating a page filled with memes and disparaging comments about me. She told me on a Facebook page, nonsense on the web. Why the hell did she name herself that? Then I followed up in DMs to clarify. She admitted to taking down the page. An admin chat from July 31st shows that admins also created other pages to blast people that spoke about the situation or tried to reveal the truth. In the past, I have read in the comments of Nonsense page, admins willingly admitting to running numerous pages, having tons of sock accounts, and deleting so that only half the truth doesn't get out. Show the proof, KJ. In my opinion, admins had vengeance against anyone that tried to reveal that the situation was not what it seemed. Harassment, doxing, and bullying was used to these admins to try to silence people that spoke out. The admin deleted the page she created about me yesterday and apologized. The other admins are still doubling down and justifying their behavior. These same tactics have been used by YouTubers as well. Without a crystal ball does not support, endorse, or encourage the harassment of anyone. If you cannot post content under your real name for a legitimate fundraiser, there will be most certainly it will be suspicious. If you want to know why the situation isn't about Vaughn, look no further than the group that formed the movement. They seem to care more about getting even and to settle their vendetta against Stray than actually care about Vaughn. To date, not a single dime that was raised by this group has aided in his care of Vaughn McCrae or the children. The money did not benefit Vaughn at all. First of all, the money was for Ms. Letitia's benefit. It was for her to be able to go see Vaughn. So that just throws and debunks that lie, because that's not why the GoFundMe was started. That's not why the group was created in the first place. Okay, let's start there. Second of all, if you want to talk about harassment, my bad, I didn't mean to not share that. If you want to talk about harassment, KJ, look no further than your Facebook page, because all I have to do is scroll down your Facebook page and it's literally nothing but you bashing admins, Molly, literally also Dre, Ms. Letitia, Ms. Wynette, Marvin Sr. It is you and your harassment of them, not the other way around. I don't care if these admins made a page about you, because you want to know why? Maybe they needed to let out their frustration. Do I condone it? No. But I still don't compare that to what you've been doing, Katie. I don't compare that to the way that you've been harassing this family, Katie. I don't compare that to all of the evil things that you have done thus far and continue to do. And now you have two people on board to help you with your harassment. Yes, that's what I'm calling it, because you have done everything that you can to demean Ms. Letitia and her family and Molly, to be honest with you. Throw them under the bus Call her the bio mom. You have said everything that you could to hurt her. You literally took back your donation. You are saying slandering things, in my opinion, and you are trying to accuse somebody else of harassment. Look no further than your Facebook page. And I hope, and I have been doing it too, keeping track of everything that's on your Facebook page, because guess what? It may be used later. You're the one who has been harassing. So the admins admitted to making a page and they said sorry. So if they said sorry, why would you even call them out? People can't say sorry to you and you forgive them and move on. No, you can never move on. You always have to throw somebody under the bus, make them feel like they're the biggest piece of shit in the world for their past, for their present, for their fucking future. It's you. These are the screenshots. And let me tell you something else about these screenshots, Katie. They are clipped and chopped. So I don't believe anything you say. I can't believe that a person exists on YouTube. As many people that have no credibility on YouTube, you are the main person that I would never believe. Even when you think you're showing proof, you're really not. Because every single time you show screenshots, they're all clipped and chopped to fit your narrative. Even if you were telling the truth even once, which I highly doubt that you're capable of it, but even if you were to tell the truth even once, I still wouldn't believe you. What page did you create to mock me? It's deleted, and I also reported another page. It was wrong. I can admit that truthfully, so my apologies. Also, I'm glad you're getting the truth out there as well. I wish I hadn't fallen for all of this, but now I tried to make it right. That's all I can do. And I may not agree with all creators and YouTubers, but it's absolutely disgusting speaking about your child. Yes, it is. I don't agree with that either. I'm going to start a Black Sheep Crane page and call them, I don't know what this is. This is somebody's chat or whatever, and that's Tony, and I have spoken to Tony, and that is up to Tony if she wants to tell her story. Hold on, you guys. Why does that always happen like that? I have to fix that, but that's up to Tony if she ever wants to tell her story. And I told her she is welcome to, because KJ has been lying about her a lot as well. So I'm going to
I'm going to plug this in. Oops. Hopefully you can see me. It's very quiet. I didn't do a title. Maybe people don't know what to expect. Hello. Hello, Christina. Hello, Karen. Hello, Desiree. Hello. Maybe I needed a title. Hello, Robin. Hi, Erin. Hard to hear. I don't have a microphone. Sorry. You'll just have to turn up your volume. Sorry. I can't
I don't have a mic. It's literally just my phone right here. So nope, haven't been crying. I would not. It's a Natasha. It's Natasha Denona's glam palette, maybe? I don't know. Goodbye. Shared. Hello. Everyone. People are showing up.
And let me tell you something about Natasha Denona. Yes, Natasha Denona, she has some good palettes and whatnot. But Pat McGrath is better. And also, Juvia's Place is a good place as well. You don't have to have like Natasha Denona and spend $100 on a palette. Yep, they're really good shadows, but at the end of the day, they're not as good as Pat McGrath, and they're not as good, in my opinion, as Juvia's Place. Some people just like to get Natasha Denona just to say they have Natasha Denona, because Natasha Denona is a luxury brand. Nobody cares, okay?
Starting to show up. I wish I had, if you can't hear me, maybe you should go back out and come back on. Because my volume is all the way up. If you can't hear me, I can't improve my microphone. It's not my side of it, sorry. Angela, goodbye. If I'm direct with people, I'm going to ask y'all to move on. All right, so, and I'm going to move my comments off. Well, Misty, I don't know what to tell you. I am far away. I'm sitting at my phone is right there. I'm done answering questions. I'm done answering questions about my volume. If the volume doesn't work for you, I would say move.
Do you not understand how rude you are to the people who watch you? Like you try to be nice and act all nice and contrite in the beginning, but eventually people are going to start seeing the real you, just like you did on Instagram. Remember all of the shit that you did on Instagram, Katie? Now you moved it over to Facebook. People can't hear you, and if they want to talk about how they can't hear you, either don't answer their questions or continue to answer their questions. Whatever the situation is, you don't have to be rude. Those people are taking the time out of their day to watch you and giving you a view, and you don't have to be rude about it.
Go off the live, come back. I can't control your computers. I cannot control your phones. I'm talking directly into my phone, which is right there. So I can't control your.
No one can catch Hannah when she
See all
runs.
these ads in here that she's getting paid for? That's why she's constantly going live on Facebook. You know, she needs more money for her lawsuits. Because when you nurture your kids,
you squeeze out the best in them.
And yes, you can control it. Talk louder. Maybe do that.
So, and that's not me trying to be rude. I'm just trying to be direct to keep the chat moving. So, there has been quite a bit of stuff that's been happening on YouTube, and I want to just address a few things. I don't want to make this about drama. I don't even really want to address the situation, but
can you just quit lying? You came on Facebook to address the situation, to create content, to earn revenue on your Facebook. Just keep it real, okay? Quit saying you don't want to address it, and there's so many things going on YouTube. You don't have to address it. And yes, Katie, let me tell you something that you refuse, okay? You refuse to face. You refuse to be an adult and own up to the fact, because we are supposed to look at you and we're supposed to look at you and enable your whole imaginary tale of being a reporter, an investigative reporter. We're supposed to look at you and say that you're a reporter and you have serious content on your channel. You, Katie, I know you don't like people saying this, and the first thing you're saying is you don't want this to be about drama. You are a drama channel. When people want to watch drama, they come over to your channel and catch up on the drama that's going on with the Duggars and Teen Mom. Just be real with yourself. Keep it real. You don't have to think that we are supposed to enable your whole delusion of you being a reporter, because you're not. You are drama. You are a walking, talking drama queen. Your channel is drama. Your Facebook is drama. You are a drama channel. Get over it and accept it. Okay? I'd have a lot more respect for you if you just owned it, instead of acting as though you're this serious investigative reporter that reports on serious things about the Duggars. Nope, it's drama and speculation, allegations. That's it. You're a drama channel.
I ignore things a lot when it comes to my son, and I just want to be super clear. I have strict boundaries when it comes to my child. I'm not going to answer your questions if you ask me how he is. I'm not going to tell you how he's doing in school. I'm not going to tell you where he goes to school. I'm not going to tell you what grade he's in. I'm not going to tell you who his teacher is. I'm not going to tell you how he's doing in school.
Really? First of all, let me just break it down to you, Katie. A lot of people don't like talking about their kids on here. I don't mind talking about my kids because eventually we will be a blogging channel. We know the consequences that it takes for those things. But let me just keep this clear with you. Just because your audience is asking simple questions like, how's your kid doing? What grade is he in? What does that have to do with anything? What, somebody's going to find out who your kid is because you're telling them? You can sit here and confide in people and tell them that your kid has medical problems, but you won't answer their questions about how your kid is doing when you always talk about how your child has medical problems. Well, of course, your subscribers who care about you are going to say, hey, how's your kid doing? Because they know, and I know, that obviously it's difficult to take care of a child that has medical needs. And my heart goes out to you for that. But the point is that people are going to ask you those things because you've been very vocal about your child, even in the past. Now, if you don't want to answer those questions, then don't answer them. But you also don't have to address it either. In my opinion, this is just you trying to find some way to play the victim because you're a perpetual victim, and I know a lot of them, and you just happen to be one of them.
School, I'm not going to tell you what he's learning in school. I'm not going to tell you what he did for breakfast today or what he played with. Like, I don't really talk about him, and I protect his privacy because he's not a public figure and he's not on my platform. And just because I have a child doesn't mean that he's a part of my business. He's not. He's never been a part of my business without a crystal ball ever. My business has always been without a crystal ball reporting.
Then why did you tell people that your child has medical problems? Why did you just tell people that your child has special needs? You're the one who made that public. So, of course, your subscribers who support you and follow you and care about you and give you their time when they don't have to are going to ask you simple questions about your child. That doesn't mean that he's a part of your brand. It doesn't mean that you're making him a part of social media. The only way your child could be a part of social media is if you let him, is if you show him. Just like with me, somebody just asked me, how old is your child? How is me telling how old my child is a part of my brand? And to be honest with you, I'm a mother. So yes, my kids are a part of my brand. My kids are me. They're the reason I live. So yeah, I'm proud of my kids. My kids are my everything. So if people want to ask me basic questions like, how old is your child? What grade is he in? I'm not going to say, well, that's none of your business. I'm going to say, oh, well, he's in the first grade. And I'm so nervous about that. Like, what the hell? So the point is, why even address it at all? What's the point? You don't have to say anything because, to be honest with you, that makes your supporters feel less than when you say that, because you're the one who talked about your child in the first place. So of course your supporters who care about you, but we all know you don't give a shit about anything. Your supporters are only dollar signs to you. That's all that is. But what is the big deal about saying how old your child is? No, you don't have to tell people the teacher's name. You don't have to go into private things about your child, but basic questions has nothing to do with you or your channel.
On varieties of different topics, none of which included my son. So I used to write very early on when he was very early diagnosed.
Exactly, which means you made him public. And haven't you also been in the hospital publicly with your child? So you don't understand. There's people who have been following you since day one. So of course they're going to ask you how your child is doing. This isn't about exposing your child or exploiting your child if you tell your supporters his age. The fuck? What do you think that your supporters are going to do if they know his age? And that doesn't define you as a creator. It doesn't make you a bad creator. There's nothing wrong with talking about basic things when it comes to your child, especially when your children are your world. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind if my supporters, especially my members, say, hey, for the first time, I've showed my members a picture of my little guy. Like, to me, my children are me. And they are very much a part. They're a big part of my life. And you as a creator can only share the things that you want to share. And that's it. If you don't want to share it, you don't have to address it. You don't have to say anything, because really, and just like I said, that's just making your supporters feel less than, because you're the one who talked about it publicly in the first place.
So for advocacy for parents of children that have children with complex medical conditions, and during that period of our journey when he was very young, I shared details about just what it's like to raise a child that has chronic illness. And when you have a child that has a lot of medical conditions, it's a very isolating world to live in. And there's a lot of hate and a lot of discrimination and a lot of assumptions that are made. And by the time my son was 4, I learned by then that no matter what I said, there was always going to be people that didn't believe us. And I couldn't take the accusations any longer. So I stopped talking about him. And so I don't talk about him, and I don't share. And if I do share, it's because I feel like I want to share. If you ask me, I'm not going to. If you ask me, he's upset right now. He's going to bed. I already said goodnight to him, by the way. He's fine. He has autism. Okay. And
Katie, I don't think that you understand how badly you contradict yourself. You just literally said 2 seconds ago that you will not answer any questions about your child. Okay? You don't want to talk about your child. But yet it's bedtime and he may be making a fuss. My kids do too. You don't owe anybody an explanation. And you're literally just told your audience which I'm sure a lot of them are new, that he has autism. Nobody asked you. You said you weren't going to talk about him. So why did you just say that? That is a huge contradiction. I just want to let you know.
We have a lot that we deal with, and I don't share about it publicly. I don't talk about it publicly. I've shared bits and pieces over the years, but nothing significant. And so what I just don't stand for is that, and I want to be extremely clear about something. You can be curious about our lives and wonder, but it's a whole other thing when you go onto your YouTube channel and monetize my child's life and you question his disabilities. And you all say that you're not bullying him, but you are, because you're saying, well, we're just talking about how you're faking things. But you're actually lying when you say that, because I'm not faking anything. And so what you're actually doing is you're doubting that he's sick, or you're thinking that I fabricated it or exaggerated it. And the truth is that he's a child that has a lot of medical conditions, that none of which I could fabricate or fake. And by you implying that I've made this up, you're completely discounting his experience and his journey and his struggles. And you're bullying a child that has a lower IQ and has autism and developmental delays. It's not cute. It's not funny. He's a vulnerable child that will need help for the rest of his life. And we are prepared to offer him that help for the rest of his life. We love him. We offer him all kinds of support. He has all the services that he needs. He has amazing doctors and amazing nurses and an amazing team that cares about him. And so when you go online and imply that I have Munchausen's by proxy, you are not bullying me, you're bullying him. And I know you guys will say you're not talking about him, but you are, because you're implying.
So, Katie, when you said that Dre has Munchausen by proxy, were you bullying her? When you brought up Dre's kids and talked about how they need to be removed from their home, is that okay? See, you can sit here and talk about how people do things to you, but you don't like it when the tables are turned, do you? It's okay for you to do things to other people. It's okay for you to talk about other people's children, which you do all the time. I don't care how old your child is. I don't give a shit if my child is 22, an adult. He's still my baby. So you have talked about Charlotte's kids. You have talked about Dre's kids. You have literally publicly said that Children's Services was involved with Dre, and she only had 10 days to comply to something that Children's Services told her to do, which you had no idea that that was the truth, but you said it anyway. But it's okay for you to do that, huh? But somebody else does it to you, and it's like, no, nobody can do this to me. Get used to it. Now, me personally, I'm against talking about children, period. I don't agree with it. I'm never going to agree with it. No matter how much I cannot stand a person, you will never, ever hear me talk about somebody else's child or even somebody's parenting, because it's not my place. If somebody brings it up like KJ has, there's been things that I have said, but you will never hear me talking about another person's parenting or child, because none of us knows what happens behind closed doors, and it's nobody else's place. Nobody knows what happens behind closed doors. Once these cameras go off, nobody knows. I know everybody has their opinion about her when it comes to that, but that's the one thing that I choose to stay away from, because I wouldn't want it happening to me. However, KJ has always been, from the very beginning, very open about her child. And now she's obviously saying that she's more private, but yet you're still open about it because you just blatantly said that he's autistic. So therefore, you still are telling people personal things about him. But something as simple as a question of his age, that's not a big deal. But yes, I don't agree with anybody talking about her child. I just don't agree with that. It's just my opinion. And I don't understand why anybody would, but at the same time, you can't sit there and talk about other people when you do the exact same thing. And she has over and over again.
Find that his life is fake or that it's not real. And you're adding insult to injury by implying that we're forcing him to do things in his life that we just because we're lazy. There's a lot of discrimination for people that have disabilities, and I've learned the hard way that when you're a parent of a child with a disability, you have to have a thick skin, and you have to be able to stick up for your child and tell people it's not okay to bully children, to question them on their diseases. And just because you watched a Netflix documentary about one woman named Dee Dee Blanchard who had Munchausen's by proxy, not every mother that has a sick child does what Dee Dee does. In fact, what Dee Dee does is a minority, and a very, very small minority, literally minuscule. Like,
that's not true. You don't know how many women have Munchausen by proxy. It's very rare, but that doesn't mean that it's that small. You don't know how small it is. A lot of women do have Munchausen by proxy. They just haven't been diagnosed. Just saying.
So tiny that it's a fragment. But you guys think that this represents all families, and it's not true. The truth is there are probably thousands, if not millions of moms like me that have a child that just want to be accepted, and they want our kids to be accepted, and we don't want to be questioned. We just want you to be like, we just want you to look at our lives and be like, hey, he's a sweet little boy. You guys are doing awesome. Come on. If I could change anything in his life, I would. The last thing I would ever do is want to hurt him. And I'll never hurt him. And if you say you would take care of him better, we don't want your help, and he would never want to deal with you. I heard Molly say that she would take care of him. Well, I'll tell you something, Molly. My son would never want to be around you, because my son, he has autism, okay? And he hates when people swear. Literally, he does not like when people yell or curse. He does not like when people are mean to other people. He'll call you out if you act that way.
Well, since you brought it up, Katie, if he doesn't like it when people are mean to other people, then he obviously doesn't pay that much attention to you and what you do online. Because I'm sure if he's seen the things that you were doing online, and he may not see that now, but eventually he will see the things that you do when he gets older. That's something that you should always think about when it comes to your children. But regardless, you can sit here and talk about your child doesn't like swearing, then why do you swear? Just because you come on here on Facebook and play Little Miss Nice and Contrite does not mean that you don't swear. There is millions of clips out there about you with you swearing and saying every damn swear word up under the sun. So miss me with that, okay?
If he heard you talking the way that you talk to people, he would scream at you and he would tell you that you're not a nice person. That's just how he is. And he would tell you to say you're sorry.
Again, he must not see the things that his mother does online, because the things that his mother does online and attacks and bullies people and bullies, mothers who are having to endure something very, very difficult with their child who is fighting for his life in the hospital. And here you are bullying her and calling her the bio mom and talking and making fun of people in their past, making fun of people's looks, all those types of things. What do you call that? That's mean. So I would think he would definitely have a problem with that if he doesn't like those types of things. You're the last person to talk about how anybody else is mean. But once again, here you are talking about Molly. That's all you do. It's almost as if you think of any excuse to even bring up her name. Literally. Every single live stream that you have done, you have brought up Molly's name, if not has been the topic of your live streams.
People that you're talking to. I mean, that's just the kind of kid he is. He does not like foul language. He doesn't like people that yell at people. He doesn't like people that are mean to people. He's a very just person. And if he heard your voice, he would be like, nope, you're a bad lady. So he wouldn't like you. So you're not welcome here. And just because someone started a rumor that I have Munchausen's by proxy, which I don't, years ago, doesn't make it true.
Katie, why would Molly want to come to your house? Or what do you mean she's not welcome there? What the hell are you talking about? You sound ridiculous.
It's stupid that I have to always address this because it's not factual, even remotely. If I had Munchausen's by proxy, you don't even understand. There was a case in my state of a mother. Mothers that have children with medical, like with Munchausen's by proxy, they don't let anyone else take care of their kid. They don't, because they don't want their kid to be alone with anyone because they're manipulating situations and they don't want their kid to fall off of the script. Okay. So they'll never allow people to be alone with them. They doctor shop. They will they describe like issues that are not traceable. So you can't find it in a lab. You can't find it in an X-ray. You can't find it in a CT scan. They use diagnoses that are like very vague to describe things. Feeding tubes are one thing that they use, but did you know there's millions of people that have feeding tubes for probably hundreds of different reasons that actually need them? So just because like a couple fringe people do bad things with feeding tubes, that doesn't mean that every person that has a feeding tube is faking it. Feeding tubes are a lot of work.
Always knew you, even when I didn't know you. Don't make sense, but it do. I was on my way to you. I was on my way to you.
And but they're also a lifesaver. And I talk to a lot of people, like followers that have parents that have gone through strokes, that have had to get feeding tubes, parents of children that have the same neurological condition as my son that have feeding tubes. In the world that we exist, in like a little pocket, in the specialty that we're in with his health, him having a feeding tube is normal. Like all the kids that we know that are like him have feeding tubes. So it's not like this, I don't know, we don't know anything different. And just because he can chew on things that are easy to dissolve in his mouth for pleasure doesn't mean that he can eat enough to sustain himself. And unfortunately, you do such an injustice to people that have disabilities and have medical conditions when you diminish their journeys by questioning what they go through. It's sad. And my child shouldn't be brought up as an argument for you. Like if you have a problem with what I'm doing, go to the source of what I'm doing, or look at the story that I'm covering. When you have to go into somebody's personal life and start attacking their parenting, it's.
Of course, you guys knew I was going to say something about this. What are you talking about? You have literally dig through every creator's personal life on here. Okay. Do I need to name all the creators' personal life that you have outed, Katie? Oh, hold on. I got to get my charger. You have literally talked and digged up on the past of so many creators. It's sickening. You went through Molly's personal life. You went through Charlotte's personal life. You have went through, oh my gosh, like the list goes on and on and on. You have went through everybody's personal life, but you have the audacity to sit there and say that you shouldn't do that. Once again, miss me with that. Like you have literally dug up the personal life of so many creators. It's damn near sickening. It really is. It is disgusting.
low. And you're not, in my opinion, you're not even attacking my parenting, because what you're saying about me is false. And so what you're actually doing is attacking my child. I will not explain his diagnosis. No. So, okay, let me see. It's kind of annoying. Yeah, I'll never be able to change their minds, or, you know, it's upsetting to have to even address this, is what I'm trying to tell you guys. It's upsetting that I have to like come on here.
You think this is annoying, Katie, but imagine how other people feel when you go through their life and when you dig through their life. I mean, what a hypocrite you are to sit there and talk about how, you know, people need to watch your content and not dig through your life. But that's the first thing you did. You did it to Ms. Letitia, and she's not even a creator. You did it to Ms. Wynette. You did it to Marvin Sr. They're not even creators here on YouTube. You have literally dug through anybody's personal life that you have ever had any kind of encounter with, or even talked to on the phone with anybody. You're always digging into people's personal life because you use people's past against them, because it makes you feel better about yourself, which it shouldn't make you feel better, because most of the people that you dig up on their past, theirs don't equal, they're not even equal to yours. You have a history of drunk driving. That is the worst that you could ever do. And as long as you keep holding other people's past against them, people are going to keep holding your past against you as well. You don't get to sit here and make excuses and then nobody else can. You just have no idea the hypocrisy that you spit every single day. It's ridiculous.
And tell you. So you're going to go goodbye, Linnea. Emily Baker, goodbye. I haven't written about him in 5 years. In 5 years. And what his diagnosis is at this point irrelevant. Nothing's changed. Oh my God, Denise Rowe, Denise Rowe is crazy. That woman is nuts. She has like 100 sock accounts. She literally has been stalking me for years. Goodbye.
Has she been stalking you like you've been stalking Molly, in my opinion? Like you've been stalking Ms. Letitia and her every move, everywhere she goes? Or like how you stalk Charlotte, Cece? You know, that's why you're so mad at Cece, because you probably went and dug up her past and can't find shit. You do it to everybody, but yet you have the audacity to sit here and complain about other people doing it to you. Quit doing it to others, and maybe it'll stop happening to you. There's a thought. And I don't believe that whoever that person was you just called out publicly, I don't believe she's stalking you. I don't know why anybody would want to stalk you. It's happened, once with one female, and it's like you take that and run away with it like everybody stalks you. No, not everybody stalks you, because not many people care about you. They just care about the way you hurt people and bully people. and shame people and mock people, mentally and verbally abuse people.
Kathleen says, I can say this as a child, as someone whose mom was accused of having Munchausen's by proxy, that the accusation is extremely invalidating and hurtful to the disabled, ill person. So I'll just show you something very quickly because I don't like. So for people that are concerned about my son, this right here, that's his nurse's stuff. They are here 6 days a week, okay? They have all their kits there, okay? So there are mandated reporters in my house 6 days a week. Those are his feeding tube things. Here's all of his syringes. Look, all these are medical supplies. Like, that's what our life looks like. This is like what our house looks like, okay?
So you want to sit here and show all these things, but not even a minute prior, you were just talking about how you weren't letting people know about your personal life, but yet you're sharing part of your son's personal life by showing all of these syringes and things that are used for his medical care. You're literally contradicting yourself with every word that you say. If you don't want people asking you about your son, then why would you show this? If you know that you are a great mom, you don't have anything to prove to anybody. So what is the point of showing all of these things, but yet you're sitting here saying, don't ask me this, don't ask me that. But you're showing these things and you expect people not to ask you? That's just human behavior. It's ridiculous. This is crazy to me.
That's just, if you were to walk into our house, you're going to find syringes. He doesn't use this, just so you know. This is not his toothbrush. Syringes, extensions, syringes. Not to mention he has all his vitals that we have to do a million times a day. That's our house, okay? And that's just the downstairs. His whole upstairs closet is filled with stuff. In order to qualify for healthcare, for home care nursing, you have to go through your insurance. You have to get it approved. You have to also have like it evaluated, and they have to come out and look at your entire thing. Your doctor has to order it. It's not something you can just like, I want a nurse. That's not how it works. That's just downstairs closet. Upstairs closet, we've got feeding bags. We've got his pump. We have tons of.
And here's what I'm saying. You can't sit here and lecture people about asking you these things when you literally let people in on your personal life in this way. So you can talk about these things, but if somebody asks you your son's age, that is private and you don't want anybody to know that. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't add up. And you're showing people, you know, your house and the things that the nurses use on him, which is a very, very private situation. But yet here you are making it public. Oh, thank you so much. Oops, hold on. I got to go back up. And I don't have my mouse. Damn it. Wait a second. There's a way I could do it. Oh, here. Okay. Welcome to the Glam Fam. Joyful. Love you. Thank you for becoming a member. I love your picture. You are so pretty. Thank you for becoming a member. Okay, so I just, this is wow. Like, How can you sit here and say that you don't want people asking your son's age, not what grade he's in, but yet you can show people your home, you can show people the things that the nurses use on him? Right, Melly, I would never in life expose my child like this. What the F? This is insane. I agree. Like, why would you show all of these things, but yet you sit there and you say that you want to keep everything private? Like, make it make sense.
Tons of supplies. If I could get rid of all of these things in my life, and if I could make him well, I would trade all of it. I would give up my life if it meant that he would be okay. That's just literally what our life is. It is what it is. We've accepted him for who he is. We love him. He's an amazing child. And he is such a huge bright light. You know, but on top of all of that, look, he has all of that stuff, but look at what he cares about. So this is the stuff I showed you that we have to do to keep him well during the day. But when he's feeling good, this is how he leaves the floor. Okay. So if today he had a good day and he wanted to play a lot. He doesn't have good days every day. So today it was lots of battles with Godzilla. See, this was a good day. No, he has way more than autism. He was born with a congenital neurological condition, which affects like his entire body, his brain, all the organs in his body, everything. So today was a good day. Lots of play, lots of dinosaurs. Oh, you have, okay, so he has panhypopituitarism. That's his primary diagnoses. He has panhypopituitarism, but he also has other things. But yeah, the disease that he was diagnosed with when he was 3 months old, 1 in 500,000 children are diagnosed with it a year, or 1 in 500,000.
Thank you for the super chat, Carol. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. Or the super sticker. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. Beautiful.
Have the type of condition that he has when he was born. And people that are born without a pituitary gland generally have all kinds of other issues in their brains.
So you go from saying that you will never discuss your son to now discussing his medical problems. Okay. And showing his toys and the things that he plays with. And it's like, what was the point of giving that whole lecture of I'm not going to share anything to now you're sharing almost everything, and then you expect for your supporters not to ask you how your child is doing when you're discussing his medical condition? Like I said, make it make sense. My heart goes out to you. I would never wish that on any parent. It's hard enough to be a parent, then have to add on a lot of medical problems and then autism and things like that. It's definitely a hard thing to deal with, especially for your child. But at the end of the day, it's like, how can you sit there and talk about, you don't want to talk about your child, to now discussing everything about him? And your supporters, well, that's just because they care. You know, they support you. They take the time out of the day. They watch you. So of course they're going to ask how your son is doing, especially when you're sitting here talking about his medical condition. That just doesn't make any sense. Make it make sense.
That are not formed correctly, and it's just like a ripple effect. So we've met amazing people in our community of children that have PHP, and they vary widely. You know, some have very minimal issues, and then others are more globally impacted. But you can't fabricate that. You can't fabricate a child being born with that. I never knew the severity of what I think the hardest part is adrenal insufficiency, but he's got a million other things on top of it. But adrenal insufficiency is life-threatening. Your pituitary gland is like the master gland of your body. I'm not going to like explain like how it affects him, but I'll just explain to you like how an endocrinologist would probably explain it to a family that's just being diagnosed. Okay. And I'm again not speaking about my child when I say that.
You literally make no sense what you just said here. So you're not going to explain about your child, but you're going to explain what it is like you're some kind of doctor, because you can't sit there and explain it regarding from a doctor's perspective because you're not a doctor. So you are explaining it from your kid's condition because that's the only condition that you can speak on because you are not a doctor. So you're going to explain how it works, but you're not talking about your kid. How about not talk about it at all? Because to me, what you're doing here is you're trying to make people feel bad for you. That's what you're doing. And I hope and pray that everyone sees this video. Make sure you share this video. Support, 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 because people need to see the things that this whole nonsense channel has done. This channel is not credible. Neither is Unirock. Okay, he's making no sense. The things that he's saying, backtracking, all of these false allegations, it's ridiculous. And that's just what I feel that you are doing. You're talking about these things for empathy, for people to feel bad for you. She does. Absolutely, Sparkle. I 100% agree.
I just want to give you like a global understanding of what it would mean if your child was diagnosed with this. So if your child was born with panhypopituitarism, it's not something that they can see in a scan. You can't what do you call it? Like a anatomy scan or an ultrasound would never catch it because it's inside the brain, and they just don't have technology to see that part of the brain when a baby's in utero. So you don't know that your child has this until they're born. And some babies, they can do okay for a little while and they'll survive. But most babies, the way that they find out that they have it is because the child almost dies. And everyone that ends up with this diagnosis generally has gone through a life-threatening illness where the child almost died. And so that's how we found out. Okay. So then when they explain to you how it works, and again, I'm not telling you like what his effect is the pituitary gland is one of the very first parts of your brain that forms. It's the middle, it's the very center of your midline. It's one of the first parts of the neural tube that develops. So when your baby is born, when you conceive, the very first part of the fetus, when it's like an embryo or whatever it's called, the neural tube is the very first part of that. So when a neural tube doesn't form correctly, it's called a neural tube defect. There's a lot of different neural tube defects. Panhypopituitarism is one of them. Others are like spina bifida. Some cases of it are low folate, but I didn't have low folate. So it wasn't anything that like I could control. It's kind of it's not genetic either. Like it's not caused by prenatals. It's literally just the tube didn't develop correctly. Okay. And then once one part of the neural tube is impacted, it can affect all other parts of the brain. So you just kind of go down the midline. So children that have PHP, and again, I'm not speaking about my son, I'm just saying in general, can have other conditions. They can have hypotonia. They can have, which is low muscle tone. They can have hydrocephalus. They can have Chiari malformation. They can have spina bifida. They can have cleft palates, cleft lips, one single incisor. They can have issues with their nose, the way that their nose develops. They can have cardiac conditions. They can have like splits down their abdomen because their muscles won't form correctly. It's basically like if you take your body like this and you go down the midline, which is your central nervous system, and then your face. So there's children that we know that have this condition where they have cleft lips, cleft palates, one tooth in the middle. They have issues with their noses. They have some kids that have panhypopituitarianism are born with what's called SOD-ONH, which is their optic nerves are impacted and so they're blind. There's, again, it's just all of the kids that I've learned that have this, they have varying issues. There are some children that it's like they have that and that's it. Literally, that's all they have. A lot of the children that have hypopituitarism have developmental delays. Some will have autism, others will have low IQs. But the central nervous system is a huge part of how your body regulates all parts of your body. And so someone that has panhypopituitarism doesn't make any hormones. So they don't have a thyroid. They have all of the glands, but their gland up here doesn't tell anything else how to do anything. So if you were diagnosed as a child, if your child was diagnosed, they would tell you that your child will not grow unless you're on growth hormone. So they would say, unless your child is put on this medication that's $10,000 a month, your child will never grow. They will be a dwarf. It's a form of dwarfism. So some children that have PHP actually do not grow even with growth hormone. So they don't know if it works for everyone. Our child, it works for. So some kids, like I know a family whose child will never grow. They will be a little person, and even smaller than a little person, like the size of an infant, because he can't grow. So it's like, so you don't have growth hormone. Your thyroid doesn't work, so you have to take thyroid medication. Your adrenal glands aren't getting the hormones, so you have to take medication for your adrenal glands, which are how your body responds to stress. And adrenal insufficiency is a deadly condition that can kill you. I actually had to leave the groups that I was in because every year there was like 2 or 3 kids that died from it. It's sad. Like there was a year we were in the group and there was a little girl that was like left in her room at night and she ended up puking in the middle of the night and the parent didn't hear them. And I'm not blaming the parent, but because of the adrenal insufficiency and because she vomited, her blood sugar crashed and she died. So you have to do emergency medications. They have to go to the hospital. It's adrenal insufficiency is scary. And that's like 3 of the things that you have to deal with. When you're treating a lot of this, they don't tell you about having dysautonomia, which means that your body, a lot of kids, their central nervous systems don't work, so they can't regulate their body temperatures. A lot of kids that have this have hydrocephalus. So
you are still going on and on about your child's medical condition. But again, Katie, you just literally said you didn't want to talk about anything personal with your child. You just disclosed personal medical information about your child just now by saying the medication works for him. You make no sense. Thank you so much for the super sticker, Doggy Lover. And it says, has anyone ever heard her say how much she loves her son when speaking about him? Just curious. I can't recall. Has anybody else? Didn't she just do that when she started this? I'm not sure. I'm sure she has, you know what I'm saying? But I've never heard her personally. I've never heard it personally. I recall KJ being super harsh on Shauna Ray, TV star with endocrinology condition. Yes, she has. She said some pretty horrible things about a lot of conditions, about people who struggle with mental health things, all kinds of stuff. Like she always does. And that's what I'm saying. Like she is a walking, talking contradiction and a huge hypocrite. She's so, her hypocrisy is just out of this world to me. Like, get it together. That's all I can say. Like, you're talking about these things for a reason too. I refuse to sit here and think that you are talking about these things just to be talking about them, or just because you think that there's another channel that, you know, and I've never seen any channel talking about your children. I haven't, except for a long time ago. But to me, you know, I just don't know, because I just never believe anything you say. And anytime you say things, I say show proof. So I would like to see proof of this channel that's talking about your children or your child. Seriously.
lots of kids in our groups would have shunts. Lots of kids have Chiari malformation. Quite a few have spina bifida. So spina bifida is also a neural tube defect, and that's where the spinal column doesn't fuse. And so it can be at the top of the spine or at the bottom of the spine. And some children with spina bifida, due to the way that it doesn't fuse at birth, they might be paralyzed from the legs down. Not all, some, but it's, you know, that's another component of what can happen if, again, it's like a scale of like how it impacts someone. Children usually have central nervous system dysfunction, which is called dysautonomia. So they can't control their body temperatures. They'll have neuropathic pain, neuropathy, low muscle tone, so fatiguing very easily, exhausted. It takes a lot longer. Their muscles, just because of the
Spectrum presents useful tips for your useless dish.
Look, babe, made you a party wheel out of our old satellite dish.
Let me show you how to work it. You need to go with the flow.
What in the haberdasheries is going on here?
Switch to Spectrum.
brain stuff. I don't know. The muscles don't form, so a lot of these kids have hypotonia. Yeah, it's a lot. A lot of the kids have heart conditions. Lots of kids have a lot of the congenital kids have heart conditions, have to have heart surgeries. Lots of the kids have feeding tubes. Like I said, it's very varied. There's some kids that are extremely high on the spectrum where they like have very little issues outside of just like the PHP. And then there's other side effects from the cancer. And they've had some of the friends that I've made through these communities, I still speak to, and their kids, you know, we all support each other. So that's kind of what the kids can face. It's just, again, it just depends on how it affects their body. There are also different levels of autism, and I think the human stimulation is great, and all kids are different. He does have autism, and that's another part of it. So when we first got his diagnosis, they told us that developmental delays were normal. So, and I don't even know, he's at level, I don't even know, level 1, I think, autism. But that's just one part of it. So it's, yeah.
So you are now discussing your son's medical condition. You're talking about his autism and what level he's at, but you won't tell people how old he is. Do you have any idea how ridiculous that sounds, Katie? You're not going to tell people how old he is, what grade he's in, but you can sit here and show his medical, that's personal and private things that you just showed, okay? And you can sit there and not answer questions about how old he is and what grade he's in. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. Level 1, I think. You shouldn't have to think about that. You should know what level your child is in.
And I just want to say this to the autism people out there is, I always like to put this out because I know I have a lot of people that have autism that follow me. Just because someone has level 1 or level 2 or level 3 or whatever level you are on the spectrum, when you have to call someone high functioning or low functioning, it actually like minimizes the person's capabilities. So if someone is considered low functioning, it's almost like you're telling that person's parent that like that child isn't worth it. They're never going to accomplish anything, that you're going to like limit their possibilities.
I agree with this, Joanne, 100%. You're sitting here and you're discussing these things, and then there's a creator like me who is commentating and just simply commentating on the things that you're talking about, and yet you're going to sit there and say that creators are attacking you or attacking your child in some way. And that's not what I'm doing. I'm talking about you. You opened up this live and started talking about you wouldn't tell your son's age or what grade he's in, but yet here you are talking about his medical condition, talking about his autism, talking about all types of personal, private things, but you won't tell his age. That doesn't make any sense. Once again, make it make sense. But somehow or some way, you'll use this to turn your situation as in you're a victim. That's all you're going to do. You're the victim. Everybody's picking on you when you have literally been picking on so many people and bullying so many people on your Facebook for over a month now.
Possibilities, and you're going to diminish their experiences. I'm not making him worse than he really is, B-man. Okay, B-man is gone. So I think I can't actually, the amazing thing is everything that we've done for him has made his life better. That's the awesome thing, is that nurses make his life better, doctors make his life better, teachers make his life better. It's amazing. The same trolls that say that I have Munchausen's, they also say that he doesn't go to school, and that's not true. He literally goes to school. He just didn't go to school during the pandemic, but he actually started back in school last year at the end of the year, and he's going to go to school this fall. He goes out of the house. He plays outside. He goes on errands. Like he goes, oh, you lock him in the basement. No, he plays on this whole main floor. I just showed you, like, this is his domain. He plays down here. He's got a whole truck of toys downstairs too, that he'll go up and downstairs to go get his toys. Thank you, Christina. The people that are like hating me and sending nasty comments, they just are really ableist and uninformed, ignorant.
You see, you took the words right out of my mouth. Is it Cola? I might say your name wrong, but I apologize if I butchered it, but you took the words right out of my mouth. They're sitting here talking about how nurses make his life better, doctors, teachers, but mommy is the best doctor in the world, in my opinion. Of course, your children need to go to the doctor and all those types of things. And obviously, her child has a medical condition, so, he should be at the doctor's, but nobody's like mommy, okay? A mom and a child, it's a special kind of bond. I know when my kids get sick before they do. When they get a cold, I always know a couple days prior to them getting one. I already know, like, and when they're sick and you hold your child, or even if you're giving your child medicine or all those things, like, nobody's a better doctor, nurse, or teacher than mommy and daddy, of course. But especially mommy, the one who carries the babies in your tummy, and it's just a bond. You know what I mean? So that's very odd that she wouldn't say that, but who knows? Maybe she forgot, giving her the benefit of the doubt, which I shouldn't be. But that's another thing too. Somebody had brought up, it just seems as though, like, why are you talking about this? And in my opinion, you're talking about this because you want to use it to play the victim when somebody else commentates on it. When in reality, nobody is bashing you as a mother or anything else. I'm just talking about you as a mother. And karma is a bitch. And just because you are an atheist and you don't believe in anything, that doesn't mean you are exempt from karma. Karma's going to find you no matter what. And you may not like it when people are bullying you as a mother, but you do the same thing to other people. You bully people as a mother. You bully people, as anything. You are referring to Miss Letitia as the bio mom, but you have the audacity to sit here and act like, wow, how could they say I have Munchausen by proxy? All of these things that you're doing is evil, and things do come back on you. It is what it is. And for money too. Yes, D. 100%. Tia, yes, you can see it in their precious little eyes. Yes, you can just see. I know when my kids have a good day in school, when they have a bad day in school. I just know all of those things because I'm mommy and I just know my children,
The same people that are coming for my child and saying that he's not ill and making it worse are probably homophobic, racist, misogynistic, sexist, transphobic. They probably hate most people.
What? What in the hell are you talking about? So you're saying the people who come after you for your child, which I refuse to believe that. I think most people are just coming after you, KJ, as a person and the way that you treat people. But how does that make them transphobic and homophobic and racist and all of those types of things? when really I'm questioning you when it comes to that. Okay? Because you're very, very quick to throw this Black family under the bus. And I think it's disgusting and I think it's sick. And it's definitely having not only myself as a Black woman, biracial, whatever, but also others who are minorities that are looking at you sideways because of how quickly you threw this family under the bus, how you're letting and trying to have other people throw this family under the bus and exposing them for their past and the things that they've done. And I'm not saying that you haven't done that to other people, but I'm saying you are relentlessly attacking this family, using their past against them. And is it because you know that it's easier for people to believe all of these narratives that you're trying to perpetuate because they are a Black family? You don't have a right to talk about any of that shit. And what does that have to do with people attacking you? That makes no sense. Like, how in the hell do you compare? How can you compare that? That's just you playing the victim. That's all you're doing. Playing the victim.
So I don't really have a lot of like desire for them to follow me.
Because the kind of people that accept people like my son are the kind of people that accept everyone. I've learned that in this world, you have to have like, he's in a class that is protected based on his, like, he's in a protected category. Discrimination against him is not an option. He's protected under the law. So, you know, he's on the fringe, and people that want to blame other people or don't like people that are on the fringe will target him. Yeah. So what I shared with you tonight about his condition, again, was in general. So I didn't tell you anything about his condition outside of what doctors would tell you. So I just want you to be clear, like, I'm just saying that's the diagnosis and here's how it can affect the body. But I wasn't being specific to him because some, like I said, some kids are blind, some kids have cleft palate, some kids have weak muscle tone, they are in wheelchairs. I mean, it's like it's a continuum. I'm just going to keep deleting comments that are telling me that me speaking about my child is wrong because it's my platform. I would just hope that if you do find a friend that has a child that has an illness, that you're just compassionate with them and you just like extend them some grace and know that it's like a hard journey for the whole family. It's not like nobody here is asking for ass pats and high fives. I don't want you to think I'm a super mom. Like, this is like just what our life is. And it's amazing. We love our son. He's so cute. He is super sweet. The other thing they always say is you said that your son could be a murderer. That's actually not what I said. We were talking about Nicholas going.
Thank you so much, Brenda, for the super chat. I appreciate you. You are absolutely gorgeous. And it says, Teaya, please continue to deep dive into other creators after this KJ mess is over. I love your passion when you do these lives. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. I will continue. If there's any other creators that you guys would like to hear about, email me, message me. All of my social media platforms are in the About section. But yes, I do. I want to deep dive into other creators, and I appreciate that. You have no idea how much that means to me. So thank you so much, Brenda. Also, I want to say this. Somebody left in the comments, and your comments are great. I'm reading them. You guys are on point with everything that you're saying. And I just saw a comment, and it said, all of this is simply because Molly told her to, instead of bullying people online, pay attention to your kid. I agree. I feel like that's all Katie does. Literally, I that's all I see her do. She's constantly online. She's constantly, Maybe. I know Maybe. Yeah, I've been hearing some things about that girl. I used to like her too. Good one, Stephanie. I will write her down. I've been thinking about it too, Stephanie. So thank you. But I don't understand why you can sit here, and if you are a great mom, you wouldn't have to sit here and give an hour lecture, okay, in a medical session where we have to get out our notebook pads because you're teaching us and schooling us about your son's medical history, like all of these things. And it's true though, like instead of being online talking about people, bashing people, slandering people, in my opinion, all of these things, why not go spend time with your son? You know, go spend time with your family, your husband, or whatever. That time that you're wasting online, you know, putting post after post up of talking about Miss Letitia and digging up videos and trying to get Dre's admins to contact you or Dre herself, like literally, that's a lot of your time on the internet when you could be spending time with your family. That's all anybody would say. And I'm sure people would say that to me. You guys ever notice I'm not live during the day because I'm getting ready, spending time with my family. We sleep in. We got to get back on a regular school schedule soon. But the point is that I'm not constantly posting post after post talking about people. I'm cooking. I cook every day. Like I clean. Those are things that I do during the day. And at night, I spend time with you guys. Okay. And but that's not what she does. Like she is constantly online posting. If she's not posting on Facebook, she's posting on what do you call it? YouTube. It's ridiculous at this point. So people can say those types of things to you if you can dig up their past and talk about them. You even talked about how Molly bought her son a car and it's none of your damn business. So don't get mad when people say those types of things to you. Has she, Mags? I used to watch her quite a bit and I liked her, but I've been seeing a lot of stuff lately. The last time I watched her, she had liposuction, and now I see her on Facebook and stuff asking for money because she wants a house that's $500,000, but she took out a loan. And it's like, okay, if you can't afford a house for $500,000, then maybe you should consider getting a house cheaper than $500,000. It's just crazy. I definitely think I'm going to deep dive into her for sure. So thank you guys for saying that and for suggesting that.
John, who was involved with Gypsy Blanchard and how he had autism.
And we were talking about the vulnerability and the manipulation of people that have low IQs and how they can be manipulated into doing things if they're surrounded by the wrong people. An example I gave in that same experience was of a family member that we have that has disabilities, and he was at school, and the children at school bullied him and told him that he needed to eat paper out of the garbage can. And he had no one else around him, and so he started eating paper out of the garbage can. When someone has an intellectual disability or a cognitive disability, if they're not around the right people, they can be influenced wrongly and they can be taken advantage of. And so they can end up in situations where they're manipulated into committing crimes. Do I think that my son would do that? No, because my son is going to be around me and my husband, and we're going to be protecting him and shielding him from that. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people that are abused, that have intellectual disabilities, that are discarded by their families, that are ignored. There are a lot of people that have borderline intelligence. So there's like a range of, another example would be Making of a Murderer. Do you guys remember that? Stephen Avery and his nephew had like an IQ that was in the 70s. And that's a vulnerable place for someone. They don't have the same critical thinking skills as someone that has a higher level of IQ. So it's harder for them. It takes them longer to process things, and it's also easier to manipulate them. So given the wrong person, they're preyed on, which is why they're protected, and they have to be protected.
First of all, even the way that she talks about autism autistic children in general is nerve-wracking to me because every child is different. Symone, my son. Hold on. I want to read that comment. My son was on a G-tube too, but I was by his side all the time. My love for him made him. Oh, that is so beautiful. You see, you guys, that can happen, you know? And just the way that she's talking about autistic children in general is ridiculous. Not all autistic children are the same. And there are some autistic children who are very highly intelligent. It differs from every child. No child is the same person. Every child is different. And every child, especially when it comes to autism, I know this because I've read up on it. And there are some children with autism that have high IQs. They're brilliant. So what the heck? This just shows you right here that Katie is talking out of her ass and she doesn't know what she's talking about. That's what it shows you, okay?
I never said that autism equates to low IQ. I was talking about my specific situation and a lot of children. Just because you guys see a cute quote that says that savants are autism.
That is what you just said. You literally said that autistic children have a low IQ. They're special needs and they're protected. That's what you just said. And now you're trying to say you didn't say it. What the hell is wrong with you? You don't know what you say when you say it? The hell? I'm just... Lord.
If you actually look at the statistics, the majority of children with autism actually don't have high IQs. Some do. Savants are less than 10% of the whole population.
That is not true. I don't believe you when you say that. I'm not going to look up any statistics. Regardless of anything, there are children who have autism and who have very high IQs. And there are some children who have autism and that don't. Period. That's just you trying to backtrack and save your ass from what you just said to justify what you just said, which is most autistic children have low IQs when that's not true. We're not talking about statistics here. Okay? We are talking about some kids with autism have high IQs, some don't. It's actually really simple. And what you said is a lie. It's BS.
It's a spectrum. If a child is classified at level 2 or below, so 2 or 3, they have an intellectual disability, meaning their IQ is less than 60. And then other kids are in the borderline where they're between 60 and 80. And then there's other kids that have normal IQs. Again, a spectrum. And people that have border.
So maybe you need to check up on your statistics, Katie, because felon, glazed, and confused, thank you. It says, according to Google, 59% of children with autism have an IQ that is average or above. 59%, not 10%. That's just you making up a statistic to back up what you just said, which is most children with autism have a low IQ, and that's not true. Which I know that's not true. And I don't even have to look on Google. But to get the statistics, to debunk you and to prove you wrong, yeah. I'm going to make sure this is pinned because I knew that it was a high percentage. I knew it was way more than 10% because I've met some very, very brilliant children with autism and they are literally genius. Seriously.
Borderline intellectual impairment are very vulnerable.
Brendan, yeah. So it's like Brendan from To Make a Murderer. That's how I was trying to classify it when I was speaking about that. Like, yes, he could have been manipulated because of his lower IQ. Yes, and Kathleen says Kathleen has autism and she has a high IQ, but people that have high IQs with autism have their own struggles because they still have to deal with the sensory overload. They still have to deal with how they process.
But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about the other problems that they have to deal with. We're talking about their IQs. Okay?
Things, they still have to deal with all the stimuli. They have to, the people that have higher IQs in their own right.
Of course, we know that children with autism, even if they have a higher IQ, they're still autistic. So they still have their daily struggles with autism. But what we're talking about is, and what you're talking about is how children with autism have low IQs, and that's not true. And once again, you're deflecting and trying to make it, well, they still have to deal with other things. But no, we're talking about IQs, okay? And you can't stick to that. You can't stick to the topic because you're going to change it to make yourself look right. Just like you said the statistics and you were way off on that one. And all you got to do is type it into Google. But you just make up shit just to make yourself look right. Exactly. Exactly.
Struggle because they're forced to conform to be what you and I are, but they can't be because they have autism. So they get burnout because they learn how to like be less autistic at school or at work. And then they get home and they can have what's called autistic meltdown or autistic burnout meltdown, which happens a lot because the kids have to like do everything that they can to stay like, okay, at school, I have to be good at school.
So now you are the professor of children with autism, right? Because you have an autistic child, you know everything about autistic children. And you're schooling everybody on autism. It's ridiculous. Like, just stop because you're making yourself look absolutely ridiculous. Okay? You're not a teacher. You're not a professor. You don't know that much about children with autism. You got the statistics wrong. Instead of sitting there talking about it and acting as though you have so much knowledge on this subject, I 100% disagree with that.
Well, I can't do this. At school, I can't do that. And so then they get home and then it's like meltdown city because of the stimulation. So yeah, they're just different levels of issues. That's why when you say high functioning, I hate that because it's like, well, no, because people that are high functioning still have their own challenges.
T, that would be really fun. It says, Tia, I would love for you to go up against KJ and put her in her place and shut her dumb up. To be honest with you, that would be really fun for me to do. Then it would probably be really frustrating. And then I'd probably not be able to stop yelling and screaming because she just seems like the type of person that would never, ever admit to her faults, ever admit to her wrongdoings. There's an excuse for every single thing. And I cannot stand people like that. Look, nobody likes to be wrong, but if I'm wrong about something, I will admit to it. Like I will, if you can prove me wrong. You know what I'm saying? I love to debate. I love to do those types of things, but she just doesn't seem like the type of person that would get up on someone's panel unless it was her own so she can control everything. And at the end of the day, I just don't think she would ever own up to anything that she's done wrong. And she's done a lot of things wrong, a lot.
Laura Farmer needs a life. Laura, you can look into my life, but when people are like literally lying about my life and lying about my son, that's different. Yes, they call it passing. Sorry, I couldn't think about it. It's not uncommon for kids with autism to like go to school and be totally fine and then come home and have a meltdown.
that is any child. Not just children with autism, that's any child. Because when these kids are in school, overall in general, schools are changing and it's more work and less play. And I understand why they do that to prepare children for college. But I remember when I was in school, especially elementary school, we used to have plays, we used to have talent shows. It's just not the same for these kids because these teachers are so overworked that they have to definitely have a curriculum with kids where it is constant and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of things that these kids have to know before they get to the next grade. So, in my opinion, when a child is in school, especially an autistic child, but I'm talking about children with ADHD or even a regular child, and I'm not saying regular as if being autistic or having ADHD, all of those things. I'm just saying a child who doesn't have those daily struggles, even a normal child that doesn't have regular everyday struggles like a child with ADHD or being autistic or anything like that, all kids when they get home release and they are running around having hissy fits. They can't keep still. They need to let off some energy because they are so very much confined in school besides when they have recess. You know what I mean? So it's very apparent, which she obviously doesn't know, but I feel like that is every child. When they get home from school, it's a release for them because they have to sit down and intake all kinds of information. And it's hard. It's hard for children. And I always say that, especially now, of all the things that they have to know, and it's a lot of pressure. So I definitely would say that that's every child, not just an autistic child. Thank you for the super chat, Faith. It says that's sad that she's having other parents feel like their own children would never arise from their health issues when they're really brilliant. I agree, Faith. I agree with you. And welcome, Manny. It's good to see you. Hell, I released when I got home too. Exactly. I think that's everyone, but especially with children. It's not just autistic children. Just in general, most children, they release when they want to release when they get home because they're so confined and taking all kinds of information, and they get home and they just like, I want to do this, I want to do that. Like, it's just every child is like that.
Wow. Rosina is so mad at me because her child, wow. So in the United States, the Asperger's diagnosis doesn't exist anymore. So children are no longer diagnosed with Asperger's. Everything is under the umbrella of the autism spectrum disorder. And again, that population is not, the spectrum is huge. So yes, some kids can have very high IQs, but not all do. And yes, some kids do have high IQs and are very smart. Others are not, or don't have as high of IQ. That's not like being mean about your child. And I'm not saying lower high functioning. She got mad at me because I said I was trying to classify lower high functioning. I'm actually just explaining the spectrum. And that's why I left the autism communities, because the parents would get into fights about the parents that had kids that were on the spectrum, that were verbal and had high IQs, would constantly go back and forth with the parents that had children that were nonverbal and had intellectual disability, and they would fight over what it meant to be autistic and what the battle was and what the issues were. And I just find that dialogue unproductive because everyone has their own challenges. Yeah. They got rid of the Asperger's diagnosis. I don't even know. My son was diagnosed in 2014 or 15, and it was gone then. And I don't think it helps the autism community when everyone's fighting about what it means to be autistic. I don't like to use high and low functioning. I'm just trying to explain it. See, this is what I'm saying is, like, if I say I don't like to use it and then I try to explain it, this is what you guys do. You'll say, oh, well, now you're going to nitpick because you just said, oh, this or that. Here's the deal. Some people have higher IQs, but they still struggle. Other people have intellectual disabilities and other issues. It's a spectrum. The DSM-5 would classify Asperger's as level 1. It does, I would agree with you that it does create disagreements because I feel like everyone has their unique challenges. I would say that if you know one person with autism, you know one person with autism. Christy?
You're right. Everybody does have their unique challenges. But once again, what is your point? Like, why are you having this whole entire live stream be about starting it off with, I'm not telling anyone anything about my son, to now you're talking about his medical condition, autism, and now you're trying to school people on what autism is. It's like, what is your point of all of this? There is no point. This is you playing the victim. And trust me, you are a very calculated person, Katie, and there's a reason behind every single thing that you do. You're not making this live stream for no reason, and all because somebody said go spend time with your kids. That's not the first time you're going to hear that, and it's damn sure is not going to be the last. A lot of people say these things about you because it's literally very blatantly clear that you are online a lot, and when you're online, the majority of that time online consists of you bullying people. So instead of doing those types of things, maybe try doing something else more productive than being online bullying people. How about that?
Maybe you shouldn't be a troll. I'm going to get rid of you. Hence the word spectrum. Exactly. I don't, I would actually, I don't, no. I don't like this mother. No. Tina, please don't, please delete that comment. Please delete this comment. She splits her son. Tina, please delete that comment. Okay, I deleted it. I don't follow any mothers that promote their children. I don't follow Finding Cooper's Voice. I find that solely exploitative. I will never follow her. She was like trying to get on Jimmy Kimmel, and parents that put their whole lives out there like that with their kids, I don't co-sign that.
But yet you report on it, allegedly. You talk about it on your channel. You talk on Teen Mom. You talk about them as mothers. You talk about the Duggars women as mothers. But yet you have the audacity to sit here and talk about somebody else. And listen, I definitely will do a video about this. And I've done a video before about family vlogging channels. And I don't 100% agree with them, but I'm not against them. We are going to do that, me and my family. But it's not going to be based on our children. Like, they will be involved when they want to be involved. But it's going to be based on more of us as parents and trying to, your daily struggles as parents and having alone time when you have children, things like that. But I'm not against family blogging channels. I just feel like there's a way you do it. And there's some who can be very exploitative, and then there's some that aren't. I feel like most family vlogging channels, like the Ace family, you just get lost. You get lost in the money. And let's be real here with the Ace family. If it wasn't for the Ace family and their kids, they wouldn't have nearly as many viewers. Most viewers tune in to see their gorgeous, precious little children. And that's the same thing with anybody. But I feel like when you have a family vlogging channel, It shouldn't be based solely on your children. Your children should not be the stars of a family vlogging channel. The parents should be the stars. And your children should always have a choice. Your children should always have a choice. And if they say, look, I don't want to be on camera today, then that should be their decision. But everybody is entitled to their own opinion. And Katie, you don't have any right to judge any other families about that, because that's your content. Okay? And if it wasn't for people like that woman that you were just criticizing, you wouldn't have any content. If it wasn't for family vloggers or Teen Mom or all of these reality shows that are scripted, you would not have content for your channel. So miss me with that. How hypocritical, again. Hypocrite. KJ has nothing else. The rest of her content is crap. Exactly. I don't think anybody even watches her if she's not talking about the Duggars. Talking about a fellow mom in Minnesota who just wrote a book about her son's journey with autism. Kate is an amazing woman. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's nothing wrong. If you want to be a mother that talks about your journey and your child's journey, do you have any idea how many people that can help? There's a way to do it. Okay. And just because Katie doesn't have the brains, okay, or capacity to do something like that, doesn't mean you get to walk around judging others because they choose to do it. It's not exploitative. There's a way to do it, like I said. But there's nothing wrong with talking about your journey and your child's journey with autism. That can help so many other parents and so many other children. Okay, that's just flat out jealousy, because that's what Katie does. She's a jealous person. I agree, in my opinion. And yawning without covering up her mouth is gross. Amen. I'm sorry. It's hard to listen to her lies. It is. It's very hard. KJ is trapped in a room with the door closed all day online, so he can't come in to say hi. Sorry, but that's weird as hell. I agree. Her kid is nothing but a tool or a shield. She willed him as to fit her ever-changing narratives. Yeah. There are some family vloggers who clearly endanger their children versus the exploitation of their children, whom cannot give consent to have their private lives on camera for all to see. And I agree with that. I feel like there's a way to do it and there's a way not to do it. And there are a lot of family vlogging channels that get way out of hand, but I'm not against family vlogging channels. I just, like I said, I feel like there's a way to do it. Welcome to the Glam Fam. Is it the Paula Michelle? Thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome. Welcome, beautiful. Yes, exactly. Please don't let her words affect you. She's extremely ignorant. She is very ignorant. It helps others relate and not feel so alone. I agree, Jamie. That's what I'm saying. Like, quit talking about people and what they choose to do with their life. You know, it's the way she's doing things. That's the problem. I agree. I don't understand why people want to hear about the Duggars if she's the one talking, because she lies so much. You can't believe anything that woman says. I'm telling you. I work with adults on the spectrum, and let me tell you that they remember everything and are very intelligent. I agree. So did my mother worked with the mentally disabled, but she worked with, throughout her life, she was a nurse. So she works with all types, she worked with adults that were mentally disabled, children, autism, all of those things. And let me tell you, they are very smart. Every child is different, and she doesn't know what she's talking about, basically, in my opinion. Okay, this is almost over. You're welcome. And she's drinking wine.
Tina, I'm deleting your comment. I'm not promoting her.
It's so funny how serious a person gets when it comes to jealousy. I really truly feel like the reason why Katie wouldn't promote her, first of all, Katie doesn't really promote any creators, period. I seen how she so conveniently, when I was doing research yesterday, how she so conveniently promoted a Black creator on her Facebook, which I've never seen before. But regardless, she doesn't promote any creators, period. So we wouldn't expect anything less from her. But the point is that the whole judgmental disposition, like she's this horrible person because she wrote a book and she is talking about her son's journey with autism. That's just because, Katie, you don't have the endurance or intelligence to do something like that, in my opinion. And that's why you don't want her promoted. You are probably one of the most jealous people I've ever encountered here on the internet. Like, it's pretty crazy.
I stopped talking about this kind of stuff out of respect for him. So I'm going to move on. Oh, no. No, I do not like the lady that does Finding Cooper's voice at all. Mm-mm. Our kids were young at the same time. She was so after like Jimmy Kimmel and getting on, what's that guy, other guy's name? Jimmy Fallon, and anybody that would like give her attention, putting out every last detail about her son, no privacy for him. Her page actually ended up upsetting a lot of adults with autism because they found her exploitative of her son. I would say instead of following an adult, a parent, follow an adult with autism if you want to learn about autism.
At First Energy, our green teams are lighting the way by planting the seeds of sustainability in the places we live and work to help the communities we all share grow and thrive. See more stories at firstenergycorp.com/lighttheway.
This toy is missing a leg.
There are some parents in the autism world that literally, it's so disturbing. Like Autism Daddy, is that his name? Oh, his page just freaks me out. But again, you guys, if you're following another person's journey, I think it's weird because it's like getting attached to somebody's kid that's not yours. It's just so bizarre to me. I don't know. Adults with autism don't like when parents do that. That's why I started. Oh, my husband, he's just picking stuff up right now.
You're only speaking for yourself, Katie. You're not speaking for every adult that has autism. You're not speaking for every person that chooses to talk about their child's autism. Like, that's just you and your opinion. Not everybody feels that way. And I wouldn't take your word when you sit there and say that everybody attacks and all that kind of stuff. I don't believe you. I don't believe anything that comes out of your mouth. You say things to perpetuate narratives. You lie constantly.
Man, dude was having a good old time today. Oh my goodness, look at this.
I know, he's wild. Okay. Carly, I don't know who that is. Okay, so then the last thing I was going to talk about was I was like literally doing my last video for Melissa. And I was like, I went onto my Twitter and I noticed that people were talking about my lawsuits. And there was
I'm over here laughing because I do think that's funny. She says, he says, I'm picking up toys, and he's picking up toys, and he's like, it has to be done. Somebody's got to do it. Oh, that's funny. You could tell, you can definitely see the look of frustration. I don't know if I would be frustrated. I would probably stop and help him so I could get done faster. I'd help my man, but that's just me. But yeah, I definitely see the look of frustration on her face for sure.
It was like I went onto this channel and they were literally talking about me. It was so weird. And they were like, there was these two lawyers on there and they were telling people about my lawsuit, but they were actually telling people the wrong information about my lawsuit. And it was so frustrating because I was like in the chat and I was like trying to say like, I'll come on and answer your questions. And the girl wouldn't let me come on because she hates me. But the lawyers don't live in the state that I live in, and the states that they work in doesn't have hip hop, the kind of service that this case had. And so they were like telling the audience incorrect information based on what their states do and not knowing the protocol for our state. And so there's all this like misinformation out there about the lawsuit, and it's so stupid. So this guy named Steve basically sued me, but he didn't.
First of all, I don't agree with you talking about misinformation because you are the queen of misinformation. There is so much misinformation out there because of you, Katie. You don't have any right to talk about other people and their misinformation. And if you're about to sit here and school other people, including us, on how your lawsuit's over, blah, 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 nobody gives a shit because at the end of the day, lawsuits are just going to keep coming with you because you're not learning from your first lawsuit that you've had. So you're going to continue to have lawsuits when you continue to spread misinformation, when you continue to harass and bully people with your misinformation, perpetuate narratives, calling people horrible things. You don't know the mental health of anyone. You dehumanize everyone. You don't look at people as human beings. You think this is some kind of reality show where you can seriously torture people, and you can't do that. So as long as you continue to spread misinformation and be a bully, you're going to continue to have lawsuits. So you can talk about this lawsuit, but you're not going to talk about the ones that you're currently in. So literally, you are the last person I would ever believe when it comes to lawsuits, and the ones you're no longer in and the ones that you're in, because you can't go on somebody's channel and get mad at misinformation when like I said, you're the queen of misinformation. Okay? Okay.
His lawsuit was frivolous. We knew that it was frivolous because he filed it after I had taken out a couple of restraining orders against two women that were harassing me. And those two women were his friends. And so he ended up suing me like right after that happened, and they all had the same attorney. And when he sued me, he never filed it in court. So in the state of Minnesota, there's a process where you can do what's called hip pocket service. And it means that once you're served, you are involved in a lawsuit. And you can actually do the full litigation of the case outside of court. It's a specific law in the state of Minnesota to keep civil cases that could easily settle out of the court system. So when you do hip pocket service, I was of the belief that in order to move forward, you would have to file in court, but that's not how it works. In fact,
hip pocket service. Now, I remember you said that about, if I'm not mistaken, either Todd or 7M, or you may have said about both, that they weren't filed in the courts, that it was a hip pocket service. You say that about everything, and we're supposed to sit here and believe you? Your lawsuits are not done, in my opinion. They're just going to continue. So you can sit here and talk about misinformation if you want to, but like I said, nobody's going to believe you because all you do is lie. So
we were able to do a response. We were able to file counterclaims against him. And you can do all aspects of the civil litigation. You can even do orders, like your two lawyers get together and they can do scheduling orders, which means like we'll have discovery done by the state, we'll have this done by the state. You can do subpoenas, you can do depositions, and you can literally do every single aspect of the legal case outside of court. with the sole goal of like, while you're doing this process, you guys can try to find a way to come to a solution. So it's only if you can't come to a solution through that process that you can file it in court. And it saves people money because then they don't have to go through the filing fees and they don't have to go through the court time and then they don't have to go through the hearings, and everything can be done between lawyers. You can also have, you can hire mediators to come in and like do mediation. You can also, and mediators can be actual judges that can help with mediation, so they can help like determine like how your settlement would go and the merits of everything. So it is literally the same thing as a regular case. It's just outside of court, and the lawyers on that panel didn't understand that. So they were trying to say that like, because he didn't file it in court, it was never a real lawsuit. The reason why it has a 1-year deadline is that if you can't, so you have 1 year, once you serve someone like hip pocket, you have 1 year within that time to file it in court if you can't come to an agreement within that time outside of court. So he, during that time, never responded to us. So we sent counterclaims to him. And then I ended up settling with the 2 girls. And the agreement was that they were just going to leave me alone. And then he just basically stopped responding. Like, his attorney never sent us a request for discovery. They never sent depositions, subpoenas, nothing. And so because we didn't file the lawsuit against him, we were under no obligation to actually push for him to do anything, because it was his job to, he brought the suit against me. So he was like, well, you're the one that's bringing the suit against me. It's your job to initiate things. And as a lawyer, didn't do anything. So basically he never did anything outside of court and he never brought it to court. So it ended up getting dismissed. But they didn't explain that to the audience correctly at all. It's sad. It's frustrating.
Well, I would have to get Steve's side of the story, which I'm sure there is a side that he has. There's 2 sides to every story, and I would definitely be more inclined to believe Steve's side of the story than her side of the story. And who are the 2 friends of Steve's that you have a restraining order against, Katie? Well, you may not be able to say their name, but at the end of the day, I still don't believe you with that. I don't believe that you have a restraining order against anybody except for maybe Nat. That might be it. You are always trying to make people look like they're horrible people and that everybody is just so obsessed with you and everybody's stalking you. And in reality, I can see a lot of people out there getting restraining orders against you. How about that?
So that case is gone now. Albert is gone. So that case is gone. And then another case that I was involved in settled. It first was dismissed and then it ended up settling because we were going to bring counterclaims. And so instead of going to court, we did mediation, which was nice. And that case completely settled. So I dropped my claims, they dropped their claims. We did a mutual agreement, which I can't disclose. And yeah, so that was good. That was with the Tati Westbrook situation. It was determined through the process that I didn't defame them. Some of the things that they thought I said, I never said.
Miss me with that. Okay, that's a lie. You settled because you had a source, okay, that Tati needed information off of you because of that source. Because if that wouldn't have been settled, Tati would have won. And I wish that it would never have been settled and Tati would have took your ass to court and let it follow all the way through, okay? Because at the end of the day, maybe you would have learned your lesson and you still wouldn't be doing the shit that you're doing. At the end of the day, you settled. And why are you even talking about the Tati lawsuit? You're trying to make it seem like that's a current lawsuit. That's a lawsuit from the past. Focus on your lawsuits now, Katie. Focus on your lawsuits that you have right now. And Tati, everything that you said about that woman, the way you bashed her, the way you slandered her husband, the way you slandered her, talked about her makeup, you picked that woman apart and bullied her, you deserve to be sued by her. 100%. And she would have won because there is documented evidence of every single thing that you said, which was that Tati's husband murdered his own mother for the inheritance money. Okay? You literally have lied on so many people. And like I said, maybe if that lawsuit would have happened and it would have went all the way through and it wouldn't have been settled, you wouldn't act the way that you're acting now. But who knows? Some people don't learn from their mistakes, which I think you're one of those people, because being in a lawsuit is enough for you to want to quit doing that stuff, but you still continuously do it. But at the end of the day, you said some horrible things about Tati. We've all watched you do it. We all watched you say it. There is all documented evidence on people's channels of the stuff that you said about Tati, the horrible things that you said about her. None of the stuff was a lie. Even the fact that you're lying now and not owning up to the shit that you have said is enough for me to want to literally want to file another lawsuit. She should want to file another lawsuit against you. That's just my opinion, because you're still lying. You're still saying, oh, that we figured it out and the things that I was saying that wasn't true. That's a lie. Everything, every accusation, everything was proven to be fact. She had a case against you. She just chose to settle. And I'm going to go ahead and say that it was your attorney that wanted to settle with her.
And then Todd Chrisley is suing me, but he's going to prison. So that is going to go nowhere. He's being sentenced in October.
Your deflection of him going to prison has nothing to do with him suing you. Those are two different things, Katie. And just because he's going to prison doesn't mean he still can't sue you for defamation. Okay? And at the end of the day, with him going to prison is actually not good for you, Katie, because if he's going to prison, then that means he has a lot of money to blow to spend on suing you in court. I don't think that Todd Chrisley is the type of man that's going to let this go. I don't.
And his case, basically, he just doesn't really have a case at this point. And then the other lawsuit that we're in a part of right now, we filed a motion to dismiss, and the judge has until the end of August to rule on that. And then they missed the discovery deadline. So we were required to serve one another our request for discovery on August 5th, and 7M has not served me a request. They missed the deadline, and unless they request a motion and the judge approves the motion, the judge rejected their request.
Do you have proof of that? Does anybody have proof of that? That 7M missed their deadline? Because I don't believe you. I'm sorry. I do not believe anything this woman says, and I'm not even joking. Tia, I'm of the opinion that Clark Swanson isn't done with KJ. I've said that since the second he asked the court to see what Tati's and KJ's settlement was. Well, you could be right. Y'all's Nana's not drunk. You could be absolutely right. I want to see the law. I want to see where she's talking about that 7M missed the deadline. And just because they missed the deadline does not mean that the lawsuit is going to be dismissed just because you filed for a dismissal. She's actually going to compare what Todd Chrisley did basically to Josh. Money situation. Gross kid crap. Way different sentences. I agree. I thought it was Steve that missed the deadline, not 7M. That's what I thought. She'll lie through her teeth. And I don't believe 7M missed the deadline. I think she's lying. That's what I think. Tati settled to get KJ's source. KJ's source was Tati and her husband's partner. They had an ongoing lawsuit with the partner. It helped Tati's case to have the exact name confirmed of ex-partner. I know all of that, and I 100% agree. That's the only reason why they settled. But I just think and know that she keeps talking about they knew the stuff that I said wasn't true. No, that's not why they settled. You didn't have any choice but to settle. Katie, you know how much money that you would have had to go through to be in an ongoing lawsuit with Tati? So the point is that if it wasn't settled out of court, Tati would have won, in my opinion. And she keeps constantly trying to perpetuate the narrative, false narratives, that Tati realized that it wasn't true. Some of the things that were said wasn't true, that were false. That's a lie. I'm sure Tati had all the proof that she needed of all the slanderous things that KJ has said. 7M pretrial starts 3/27/23. I just looked up on Minnesota court records online. Exactly. The case is still open. You may have filed it for a dismissal. I don't even believe you when you say that. I would have to see proof of that in order to believe you. But at the end of the day, right, Dave. But at the end of the day, you're always trying to lie and think that people can't fact check the things that you say. And when you say these things, you show no proof of it. So there's another lie that you just don't learn. You just constantly keep lying on people. And then you wonder why people don't believe anything you say. You lie through your teeth.
Be a letter for a continuance or for an extension, and absent a motion where they would have to file it, and then it would have to be approved by the judge. At this point, the case is considered dead.
Certain words, she's lying.
Because they don't get discovery from us. And you need discovery to do a case. I thought I blocked Albert. He's blocked now. He's blocked now.
Okay. Why?
No. Todd will not get house arrest. The prosecutors in the case already said that they're seeking jail time. And they wouldn't give house arrest just so someone can care for an ailing parent or a child. Josh Duggar tried to do the same thing. He's like, oh, just put me on house arrest because my kids need me to work. Todd Chrisley stole $30 million. Like a lot. Oh, I gotta keep my husband.
Oh, no. I can just put it on mute.
No, it's okay. I gotta go. My husband's gonna turn on the TV and then I'll get a copyright claim. So, no. Okay, the other thing I'm just gonna tell you is like, don't tell people to sue other people. Don't egg on creators to sue people. Suing people solves nothing. It's expensive and it's not worth it. Let people talk. Ignore the haters. Don't encourage them. If somebody's doing something, it's not your job to stop them. You're not the police. You're not the YouTube police. Period. It's not your job to police how other people run their platforms. If there's something that you see that's happening that you feel like you should speak out on, that's fine.
You sound like an idiot. Here you are trying to micromanage everyone's platform, talk about the things Molly does on her platform, talk about any creator, LB, CC, Charlotte. You always talk about and try to dictate the things that other people do on their platform. Okay. But yet you're telling other people what not to do on their platform. And then you're also saying, don't tell other creators to sue other creators. But see, here's the thing, KJ. I don't have to tell other creators to sue you or anything like that. People have their own minds. And what I will say and what I stand very firmly on is how you're treating Miss Letitia and her family is a lot of grounds for a lawsuit, in my opinion. Now, that's just my opinion. But I can tell you right now, you don't know the type of harm you've caused that woman and her family. And you continuously, relentlessly attack her. And then you use Unirock and this nonsense channel to perpetuate and help you harass this family, to perpetuate your false narratives. And at the end of the day, it's gonna blow up in your face. And guess what? Unirock and the nonsense channel, you guys will be the first person thrown under the bus. The accusations that you're making are false. the things that you're saying is very defamatory to me. All of the things that the allegations that you continuously make with no proof to back it up is definitely grounds for something, in my opinion. I would never tell a creator what to do and they should sue. I would never walk around telling people that they should sue. But when you're constantly, relentlessly attacking someone who isn't a creator simply because they chose to part ways with you, that's a problem. Because Ms. Letitia and her family are already going through a traumatic time, but yet here you have KJ, now Unirock and the Nonsense Channel, adding on to that and not caring anything about it. She has even said in one of your comment sections, Unirock's comment section, please leave us alone, and you still won't do it. So it's not about me telling other creators or any other creator telling other creators to do anything. Continue to do what you keep doing, and you're going to see what happens. And that's just my opinion. You cannot go around attacking people and making false allegations with no proof to back it up. This is not a reality show. These are real people's lives that you're dealing with here. And you cannot do those things without there being any consequences. You are being exactly. You're using other people to perpetuate your false narratives. And like I said, the first people that will be thrown under the bus is the two people that's backing her up. Unirock has actually really disappointed me. I thought he was a little better than that. You know what? I don't even know him, Dave, and that's unfortunate. That there are people who know him that are now looking at him sideways because of the crazy stuff that's going on right now, the shady stuff that's going on. But the point is that your whole Facebook is literally Molly. Your whole Facebook is literally talking about Miss Letitia, talking about admins, talking about everyone. You're the only one who called Dre a murderer, and I proved that earlier. And all I'm saying is that there are consequences to every action you have. So keep that in mind.
But when you make it your goal to patrol what other people are doing on their platforms, I'll never agree with that ever, literally ever, because that's you don't want no. But don't encourage people to sue other people. It's
once again, you sound very, very ridiculous because you are the one who your whole Facebook is literally Molly and Miss Letitia. So nobody is encouraging anybody to do anything, but people have minds of their own. And when you're relentlessly attacking people who aren't even creators, that's a problem to me. That's a problem because, like I said, you don't know the mental state that anyone's in, and you treat people as if they're nothing. And you can't treat people like that and think that there's no consequences when you're constantly and relentlessly attacking people with no proof to back up any of your allegations that you've made thus far. You might try to micromanage other people's platforms because you do it all the time. All you got to do is look on your Facebook. It's you talking about what Molly's doing, what she shouldn't be doing on her platform, worrying about what she's doing on her platform, even when she doesn't even mention your name. Okay? But yet you can do whatever it is that you want to do, right?
It's for you to get drama so you can get content. A lot of the creators that are egging people on to sue people, it's so they can have content, period. Some of the creators that
you created all of this drama with Miss Letitia and the admins of the Justice for Vaughn group and the Exposing Dre McCrae group. Ms. Wynette, you put out a video that was sent to you privately. You've put out so much stuff. KJ, private messages, all of these things that you put out there. And you have the audacity to sit there and talk about other people and what they should or shouldn't be doing with their platform. You sound ridiculous. You are the one that continuously does the same thing and treat people as if they're dirt. That's how you treat people. You're dangerous, Katie. You are. You're very dangerous, in my opinion.
Inserted themselves in this situation with Letitia most recently thrive on drama.
You have thrived off the drama, turned it into content, and continuously try to keep yourself inserted in this story, which is why you literally tried to get a hold of Dre's admins or Dre herself a week ago because you want to do whatever you can to keep yourself inserted in this story. That's why you've made post after post, video after video, perpetuating false narratives, creating drama for content. That's you, not other people. It's you.
They thrive on getting people to sue other people. Like, these people were not satisfied with me that I wanted to be done with Steve. They want me to still go after him because they hate him. They don't care about me. They don't care about my life. They don't care about me wanting to get rid of and moving past that chapter of my life. They just want me to keep going after him because
no one is encouraging you to go after Steve. People may be encouraging Steve to go after you, though, because you deserve it. But no one's encouraging you to go after Steve. I can tell you that right now. Most people support Steve, including myself, and support the fact that he is doing what he has to do, okay? And you literally are trying to say that people are encouraging you to go after him. I highly doubt that. The majority is encouraging Steve to continue to seek justice against you, Katie, because of the things that you've done to him.
they hate him. So it's not beneficial to me. It's to serve their needs. And I'm not down for that. And I'm not going to be getting into these tit for tats because if you sued everyone that talked about you online, you're doing like a game of whack-a-mole. There's always going to be someone that's going to talk shit. There's always going to be someone that's going to do something to you. You just have to have a thick skin and move on. And that's what I'm doing with Steve. That's what I'm going to do with Chrisley. That's what I'm going to do with 7M when it's all said and done.
No. You got it all wrong. There's a difference between talking about somebody and getting on your channel and maybe talking about how you don't like their content or talking about how you don't like the way they treat their subscribers, then versus saying defamatory things like they murdered their husband for the inheritance money. That's slander. Okay. And if you don't know the difference between having an opinion versus defamation, then you better look it up because there's a big difference. You can't get on your channel and defame people and think there's no consequences for that. There's a big difference between the two. You can have an opinion about someone, but once you start talking about people's lives and you start talking about very, very dangerous things and making accusations, for example, calling people a fraud, which can hurt their business, it can hurt their image here on YouTube. When you start crossing that line, that is defamation, and you can't do that. So if you don't know the difference between the two, you better start doing some research and figuring it out, or you're never, ever going to be out of lawsuits.
But encouraging anyone to go into civil litigation over baseless claims is ridiculous. And if you are putting yourself in a public space and you are talking publicly, you should be prepared for people to speak about you, which I am. What I don't accept is when you bully my child. That's it. You can say everything you want about me. You can say I got a crooked chin.
No, that's not the way it works, Katie. You don't go on your channel and just talk about people. Yes, talking about people's looks are bad, but when you go on your channel, you defame people. You say dangerous and make very, very false accusations, which turns into you defaming people. And when you start defaming people, especially creators or people who have a business, they have every right to sue you for that. You cannot do those types of things. We all have freedom of speech, okay? But there is something called freedom of consequence, okay? And you, my dear, have to understand the difference. You can go on your channel and have an opinion, but when your opinion becomes you stating things as facts and calling people frauds and claiming that they are doing horrible things and saying that they tried to take their own mother out for their inheritance, that is defaming people and it's messing up their image. You don't take it very well either, because when people talk about you, that's the whole point of your life now. I get it. You're talking about your son, you're talking about the medical problems he has, all these things to make people feel bad for you as if you're a victim. And that's the only thing you care about when people say things about you. But that's a lie, because why did you threaten? If you don't have any problem, if you don't have any problem with people having an opinion about you, Katie, then why did you threaten CC Suarez when she respectfully reached out to you so you can respond to the video that she was going to make? Why did you threaten her with your attorney? Why did you say that you were going to have your attorney call her? You threatened her. You tried to bully her like you do everyone else, right? All because she chose to make a video about you and she respectfully reached out to you. I wouldn't have, and I don't, and I'm not going to, because I know you well enough to know asking you, it's not going to help anything, because you will lie anyway. But if you don't have a problem with people talking about you, when she respectfully reached out to you, why did you threaten her with your attorney? Why do you have such a problem that Charlotte has a channel that calls you out? Why do you have such a why were you bringing up Charlotte's criminal history? Why did you dox a creator that has a channel calling you out? You've doxed many creators that have channels calling you out. If you don't have a problem, okay, with creators calling you out on your problematic bullshit, then if you don't have a problem with it, why do you do the things that you do? Why did you threaten CC with an attorney? Oh, you don't care if it's people talking about you or if it's people talking about your family, whatever it is. You will attack anyone that talks about you, especially when they grow. You're not fooling anybody here. So let's just keep it real, okay? And if you're not going to keep it real, I'm going to keep it real for you, okay?
I have messy teeth. I'm super fucking ugly. I've got thin hair. I'm a negligent mother. I'm the worst person ever. I'm angry. I'm bitter. You can say anything.
I think you're angry and bitter. I don't talk about your looks. I don't talk about anybody's looks. When you start talking about people's looks, you got to be careful, because then you lose all credibility with me. When it's somebody like you, KJ, that has a whole bunch of history of hurting people, defaming people, have been in multiple lawsuits, all of those things, in my opinion, you don't have to talk about your looks. Okay, just like CC talked about your character, the things that you've done here on YouTube, right? You had a problem with that, though, didn't you? You were very angry when she did that, even though she respectfully reached out to you. So miss me with all the bullshit of creators can talk about me, I don't care, just don't talk about my son, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter, especially when it's a bigger creator calling attention to your problematic behavior and the way that you act.
You want about me. Just leave my kid out of it. Okay? Good night.
Okay. So that was the end of me talking about that and doing commentary about Katie. I hope you guys enjoyed. Really, that whole live stream was basically her playing the victim and how she doesn't want people talking about her child, which I don't. I don't talk about her child. I don't talk about anybody else's children. That's not my place. But I talk about her and her character and call her out on her problematic behavior, because she is a very bad person, in my opinion. And my opinion will always stand. I think she's dangerous. I'll say this as many times as it takes. Katie is dangerous because there are so many people out here. When when it comes to creators. She doesn't just attack just creators. She attacks people like Miss Letitia, who's not even a creator. And we all know that Ms. Letitia is going through a lot with her child being in the hospital. Then you have somebody like Katie adding on to it, accusing her of fraud, having a whole bunch of people at one time attack Ms. Letitia, Ms. Juanette, her family. And I stand firmly with, I think she's dangerous because one day she's going to mess with the wrong person. And when I say that, I mean she's going to mess with the wrong person. She's going to bully the wrong person, and something very horrific is going to happen. And I don't want that to happen. And that's why I feel like it's very important for these awareness channels to continue to call her out. She's a perpetual victim. Yes, that's all she does. She's a perpetual victim, in my opinion. I think she's a malignant narcissist. And and that's just my opinion. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist. This is just me stating my opinion, which Katie allegedly has no problem with. I think she has a problem with bigger creators like Cece calling her ass out on all of her hypocrisies and all that kind of stuff. And that's exactly what Cece did. But at the end of the day, that's the problem that I have with KJ. And I think that's the problem that most creators have with her. She's dangerous. I think for the people that she attacks, I just think that she forgets that everyone's human and we all make mistakes. She holds people's past against them. She says horrible things about people, and everyone is human. And I feel like she has this way of dehumanizing people, and that's how it's so easy for her supporters to watch her bully everyone, because she has this way of making it seem like we're all just reality, we're reality stars. These are real people's lives you're messing with here. These are real people's lives that you're talking about and making public. And you have people who are sending her personal, private, intimate things about their lives. And somehow or some way, it's always blasted publicly. That's not normal. This is not normal behavior, you guys. And I'm glad that creators will continue to call her out, like myself. And like I said, if you want to continue to keep up with Katie and all the things and the bullshit she does, Llama Girl is always in my description. And I'm pretty sure, just like Katie talked about her side with Steve, I will have in my description Steve's channel so you can go over and watch his video that he just recently did in response to the things that Katie is saying. And it's also in the chat as well. My mod just posted it. So thank you guys. I love you guys so much. Thank you, Mrs. Bermudez. We're all tired of her, including creators, I think. She just keeps dragging us all back in. She just keeps getting worse. I think that's the most of what it is. Your commentary is always on point. I appreciate you. Thank you for keeping the chat. Darn it, why does it do that for me? I lost it. Thank you for keeping the chat a safe place. Thank you for focusing on the victims. You're very welcome. Thank you so much, Char Truth Seeker. I appreciate you so very much for being here. I appreciate all of you. I think that's where she's made her mistakes this time. Letitia is a private citizen, and laws will be in place to protect her info. She isn't famous, so Johnny Depp style defamation laws won't apply. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think she just forgets that these are real people's lives you're messing with here. And Miss Letitia is not a creator. It's not fair to be talking about her this way, making these type of allegations with no proof to back it up. You shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff. And like I said, in my opinion, you can only be pushed so far before you start fighting back. And I mean that in a legal term. So I understand why Katie has been in so many lawsuits and why she continues to be in lawsuits. And it's only keep doing what you're doing. But I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, just like every other creator who calls her out on her BS, because at the end of the day, I don't want it to get to that point. So that's I think the goal of a lot of creators. They want to continue to bring awareness about her so people can be aware before they get involved with her. So I love you guys. I want to thank you guys for hanging in there with me this long. I appreciate you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your night / day, wherever you are. Thank you for the super sticker, Brenda. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Thank you. Is it Kahalani? I probably said that wrong. Kahalani. I'm not good with that. And yes, Miss Tia, always looking on point at 2:30 a.m. I'm over here looking like the cavemans. I have to look. I actually just did a video prior to coming on here, and it is about All In with Ari. But yes, I'm a makeup artist, so I can't take my makeup off until I'm done going live. But yeah, I do have a video coming out too. Tia, you are my go-to. I don't even watch KJ because you bring us the most up-to-date news. Thank you, Natalie. I appreciate you being here. But I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your night. Thank you to my amazing mods. I love you guys so much. Shout out to Sparkle for holding it down. And I just appreciate all of you guys. You guys are amazing. Welcome to all the new members. Thank you for all the super chats. I'm genuinely, it's genuinely heartfelt. So thank you so much. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay? I love you guys. Have an amazing day / night where you're at. And stay safe. Remember how beautiful you are. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Deuces. I love y'all. Bye. My mouse is broken, you guys. Well, it's not broken, but I had to fix it. And I don't have time to fix it now. But I will see you guys later.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding from the words I spit. So sharp, so freezing, so cold.